What is up, good people? Back in the building once again. Like to welcome everybody to the show. You know, I do my little brief test of the mic. I got all my junk here. Y'all ain't supposed to be seeing this. But anyway, we got a good one for you today. Yesterday's show, we talked a lot about, I had Ramil on. So y'all know what time it is when I got Ramil on. So yeah, we was talking about a lot of pumping and dumping and banging and clanging and all of that. Today we're about to talk about some of the reasons why you probably shouldn't be doing all of that. And the benefits of this thing called NOFAP. Heard about that? I've heard people vaguely talking about it, but I've never did a deep dive into it. So we're going to be getting into that with Coach Ali. Going to be talking about NOFAP and many other things because the brother has a wealth of knowledge. So we definitely going to be getting into that. So strap on in, whether you're watching it live right now or you're catching it on the restream, the upload, or whatever we're going to call it. Make sure you hit that like button when you come through the door, and let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mumia Obsidian Ali. You know who I am. I need no introduction, right? And you're listening to the Grown Man Hour with my man Bernard Riley, heard weekdays right here on YouTube. What do you think about that? How about that? Now let's get back on with the show. Thank you.
And we back. What is up? What's going on? I never make it back into my chair in time before the intro is over. But we back in the building. Breathing hard, running up and downstairs. But as usual, got to send the email link to the special guest today. Got to send the link. Got to get that taken care of. Where we at? Right there. That should already be done, but I have my reasons. Why I don't do it beforehand. When the guests come into the show while the intro playing and normally throw everything on the fritz. But there we go. In 1 second, fellas. Hate the dead air. Got to work on that. But ever since I've been on video, I've not been as conscious about having dead air on the show because I'm like, whatever. Y'all can see me. It ain't radio no more. Yeah, I can see me. Even if I'm not making no noise, yeah, I can just look at me. Let me see where I'm at. Gotta put the YouTube stream on, gotta like the video myself. But once again, now that we rolling, we got the show started, got the email link sent. What is up, everybody? What's going on? Like to welcome everybody to the show, getting it in on a Saturday. This perfect time for me to actually pull off a clean-ish show. Cause I know Coach Ali don't be cussing up a storm, and I've been working on it. So we're gonna try to pull it off today. Yesterday it was no hope. I had Ramil on, and he was going in. That one is still up. I said I was gonna take it right to Patreon, but it is still up. It's still up. I'm leaving it up. But gonna have a nice clean one for you today. But we're gonna be talking about a topic that's a clean topic, kinda. You're talking about that whole NOFAP, no getting it in thing. I don't understand it. Did a little research on it leading up into this, but Hassan, I'm choking. Coach Ali does have a lot of information on it, so we're going to get into that. I've always been the type where, I've said this before on the air, I tend to get one off every day. So when people talking about NOFAP, they not speaking my language, but I'm here to learn. And we all here to learn. We're going to talk about the benefits of not releasing the Kraken every 24 hours, which I think is a healthy thing to do. But I'm open to be persuaded otherwise. So we're going to see how that go. But as usual, shout out to the early bird squad. Ain't nothing changed. We got the Mac the Trucker in the building. Says, what's good, everyone? Wake your, I don't know if that one is friendly. Wake your derrieres up. It's Saturday. It's a funny thing because moderators can still cuss up a storm, if I'm not mistaken. So it'd be a big thing trying to get the mods to not be cussing. Try to replace those words. You can replace the word that we use to address a fellow brother or comrade of African American descent. You can replace that word that starts with the N. You can replace that with ninja. If you're typing out the F word, you can put a PH in front of it. There are ways to replace the words. We're going to be on YouTube. I like being on YouTube. It's the hangout spot. So, hey, we got to play by the rules. It's, they got advertisers who don't want their ads playing in front of a bunch of vulgar language. So if this is where we're going to fight, it got to play by the rules. Coach Ali, yes, I did send the link. I sent it right in the emails that we were already corresponding on. Put it right at the end of that. So you should have received it. I'll send it again. For some reason I had to send it to Ramil twice as well. But Omega Dre's in the building. He says, welcome to everyone. There we go. I see Coach Ali coming in here. He says, welcome everyone to Bernard Riley. Pull up a seat or on your way back to work. Pull up a seat on your way back to work. I be talking about how I need glasses. My vision be really blurry when I wake up in the morning. Occasion raised in the building. Seat of God. Who else we got in here? Darth Low IQ in the building says, what up, fam? Melody in here dropping those links that all of you should feel obliged to use. Kenny Conjo in the building, bright and early. And Titan TV UK channel in the building. Got everybody in the building, everybody filing on in. But without further ado, going to bring the man of the hour, the special guest on in the building. And I don't even got my coffee with me. I got to yell upstairs for somebody to come down here. But let's get to it. Let's get with it. Without further ado, Hassani Ali, aka Coach Ali, in the building. What is going on?
What's the word, Bernard? How's it going this Saturday morning?
Doing great, man. Glad to have you back. Glad to have you back.
Hey, way to have a good return. It's been 2 months since I've been on the show last, and now that little boy is getting pretty big, so I'm looking forward to having this conversation. Yeah, he's large, man. That breast milk will get you. He's already in 6 months clothes at 2 monts old. That's gonna be my football player right there. Yep.
There you go.
So
how many kids you got?
I got 3 boys.
Got 3 boys. Okay, yep. That's what's up. I got all boys too.
Yep.
I got all boys too. That's where it's at.
Yep. I got one. I got 2 born in September, and then I'm October, and then my oldest is in November. All right next to each other.
Okay, that's cool. But glad to have you back. We had a number of topics on the table we bounced around. So we're going to bounce around a lot of things. But the first thing, something that you mentioned that was interesting, and as I said in my little pre-intro, it was funny because I had Ramil on yesterday, and you know how Ramil get down. But
yeah, I was watching.
So yeah, this will be interesting. This is, I won't say necessarily the flip side of it, but another angle, because you say he talking about pumping and dumping and all of that stuff, but the whole NOFAP thing, I know very well. I mean, I've done some research on it leading up to this show, but I've not even understood exactly what that was. But before we get all the way into the topic, well, first I got Native Arain in the building. He says big money, but now I don't know who told you I was big money. I'm medium money, Bernard. I'm working on being big money, Bernard. I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it.
We hear that.
But yeah, and also Justin March came back through. Perfect topic for No Nut November, which I was
there we
not.
Go.
No. Nobody told me. I got one off right at midnight. Right at midnight on November 1st. It was November 1st. I already blew it. Right at midnight. It was over. But
nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, Wayman Brown in the building. Yeah, this is a topic that a lot of people like. A lot of people have asked my official position on NOFAP, and I've said I don't know that much about it. But before we get in that, one question that I always like to ask people is how did they even get involved in this space? How did they find the manosphere? I think I asked you that one before, but go ahead and set that one up. And I'm about to step away. I'll be able to hear you because I got my other listening device on hand, so I'll be able to hear you while I walk upstairs and get my coffee. But just tell everybody, how did you find this space? How did you get involved in it? What brought you to the manosphere? And talk about what you were doing before you came here, because I understand that you were doing some things on Facebook and all of that. So yeah, just give everybody a little bit of your backstory before we get into this NOFAP thing real quick.
Okay, so like I said, I'll try to make this YouTube friendly as I possibly can. But as most of us brothers, I grew up. Yeah,
my bad.
Okay, so just like a lot of brothers, I was introduced to, and when I say prawn, adult films, I was introduced to prawn, at an early age, and so, when you're exposed to something that early, you want to explore it as you get older, and it end up becoming a habit. It end up becoming a habit, and so fap through high school. I mean, you would normally fap through college, as an adult, and so even though people will call it exploration of your body and such, I never realized how much power I was losing as an individual. And even when I was playing sports, I realized that I was good, but sometimes I was always a step slower. The rebound I should have got, I was off by a couple inches, and it just felt like my energy and my power was dwindling bits and bits at a time. So I couldn't understand why I was, my athletic performance was just going down the drain. And even when I got to college, I played football at Central Michigan University. I was on the 2009-2010 historic Central Michigan team where we went 11-2. As you guys know, Antonio Brown was on that team. That was his breakout junior year. And, I made the team as a walk-on coming from a Division II team, Lane College out of Jackson, Tennessee. Walked on, made a team from Central, and I was on that team, but I just had really bad spurts, as far as performance. I only played in 2 games as a walk-on, but I bust my ass enough to show the coaches that I can play. I could, run the ball. Actually, that year, ironically, I had the highest yards per carry as a fullback, but we were in a spread offense, so it wasn't. I was mainly used for the blocking when I did come in, special teams, whatever. But when I got to college, I just realized that I was playing with all these monsters. And the MAC, the Mid American Conference is a mid-major. It's not a Michigan State. It's not Alabama. It's not a Florida or Georgia. But these guys were excellent talent. They were excellent talent, and I couldn't realize why I couldn't compete. My squat improved, but it didn't drastically improve. My speed got better, but didn't get as up to par with everybody else. And as I got into adulthood, when I got into boxing after my football career, again, I got gains, but I just wasn't getting crazy gains. And so I made it to the championship of the Golden Gloves tournament 2015. And my coach was like, all right, now, the drill, no sex during the whole tournament. And he kind of looked at me like, nigga, I'm serious. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I got you, coach.
How long was this tournament?
I had 6 fights. So about 6 weeks.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, let's pump the brakes for a second. Let's just for those that don't know, let's make sure before we get all into that, let's get a formal definition of exactly what NOFAP is, what it means. Because I know for a while I was confused. I thought it meant no sex, but then I found out it meant no sex, no masturbation, no nothing. You can't no. Just define what it is real quick.
Okay, yeah, you want just a strict definition. So, yeah. You have NOFAP and you have semen retention. NOFAP is you are not self-stimulating through prawn.
You can just say adult entertainment. I think that
through adult entertainment. Through adult entertainment, and then semen retention is you're not releasing at all.
Okay, yeah. So it sounds like the distinction is one of them you can have sex.
Yeah, you can have relations with NOFAP. You just can't use the adult films to self-stimulate.
Okay, so it's more about so that's what I was coming to understand in my research. It's more about the adult films than anything. It's not just if you're talking about NOFAP, you're talking about just not getting it in,
yeah, no pinky, no Cherokee, none of that.
Yeah, no getting it in to watching the adult films. That's essentially what NOFAP is, just getting rid of the pornographic material, in other words.
Right.
Okay. And but okay, all right, here's a silly question. What if you are not watching the pornographic material, but you got a whole bunch of images and highlight reels and what they call the spank bank, and you're still just jacking off should be clean. You could say jerking off to the memories. You still how's that any different from watching the adult films?
Because based on the research is that when you're watching an adult film, your brain doesn't think of it. They still see it as your brain still recognizes that female on the screen as somebody that's right in front of you. Mm-hmm. So in your own mind, you're still mating. It doesn't matter how you get it off, but because you're self-stimulating to a woman on the screen, the brain is recognizing it's another woman. That's why, when you date somebody for a long time, you don't get as sexually excited as much because you get into a routine. But whenever you get on the adult film sites and you get another woman, your dopamine levels spike because it's the idea of I get to mate with a new woman this go around.
But the images in your brain, you're saying they don't have the similar effect, you're saying?
Right, because they even though their memories in your even though their memories in your brain, I mean, it's still a comfort thing. When you're on an adult website, the dopamine levels hit you so hard, it's almost like you're taking a shot of heroin.
Now they've actually studied this. They've like had guys watch porn with the little electrodes or whatever hooked up to their head. And they saw the dopamine spike versus if they're just masturbating to memories.
Right. So basically, if you're going to self-stimulate, then you should use memories rather than going to the adult sites, because you know how it gets when you get into a habit or a rhythm. It's not just a strict preference. You get into the the wild stuff, you get into the kinky stuff. That's why you get into those really niche genres of the adult entertainment.
It's all kind of stuff that you into that you didn't know you was into until you saw it. That's
exactly.
I was like, whoa, what the heck is they doing? But
you know what I mean. So that's why. That's why there's so many genres. It wasn't, it went from regular intercourse to, to role play to particular acts. Now
it's pigeon-toed albino midget porn.
Exactly. Having relations with the pizza delivery guy while my husband watches. You know what I mean? Like, it's just such crazy, they come up with anything and make it, a fantasy for somebody. Because the more you watch the stuff, then your brain's like, okay, I've been there, I've done that. I want something else.
Yeah, I remember it was a Chris Rock joke where he said before, when you first start watching it, it's like, and by the way, Soul Provider, who's into licking kneecaps? That's the thing? I haven't found that website. I haven't found the kneecap website. Yeah, that's I didn't know that was a thing.
I'm sure that's a thing. I wouldn't be surprised.
I believe it. I just hadn't found it yet. But yeah, it was a funny Chris Rock joke. He was like, when you first start watching it, it's like at first it's like, ooh, they naked. It's like, yes, that's it. Ooh, they having sex. Yes. But then after a time, he said after a while, it's like you need that perfect a pornographic cocktail.
Exactly.
Where he said it gotta be a Chinese woman with a black woman's behind that speaks fluent Spanish, and you gotta have that perfect cocktail. Right. And you'll sit there scrolling for hours trying to find it. Just to get one off in 2 minutes. It took you 1 hour to find the perfect scene, and then 2 minutes you're done. All right. It's like,
nope. Hey, I'm not even gonna lie to you, man. I remember, like, even before football practice, if we had like a late practice, like on a Sunday, man, I'll go right to panties to the side and run right quick, run to practice, and be done with it. And it's funny you say that, because it's like you literally take a half hour, 40 minutes to find just what you like, just for 5 minutes action. Like, it's kind of silly when you say it out loud, but I mean, we do it,
Yeah. But so, all right. So now that we got the clear definition, NOFAP is just getting rid of the pornography. Semen retention is just going full. That's basically celibate. Basically, you're not. No sex, or correct me.
No, well, I was gonna say, I mean, you could do it celibate. Most of the time, there are guys who do, still get it, and if they have like a wife or a girlfriend, you can't release.
Okay, are you saying that the semen retention thing, you can have sex, you just don't seal the deal. You don't,
right. You don't release
you
at
don't
all.
finish.
Now, would I encourage it? No, because that's too much temptation, for one person at in such a a tempting environment.
Is
But there are
is somebody somewhere saying that there's benefits to walking around backed up like that?
oh man, I've been on the journey twice, and there's definitely some major benefits to it. Major benefits. So the reason why this NoFap is actually a community. It's a bunch of guys who realized that their life wasn't as optimal as they thought it would be. People balding at an early age, not as confident, voices not as deep. Maybe your man meat shrunk because worked with it too much. Can't get the gains in the gym, brain fog. It's 2 o'clock at work and you're already taking a nap. It's because you're releasing the most vital nutrients out of your system, for pleasure. And when you go on this journey of semen retention, you retain all of those nutrients back in your system. So then your body can recorrect itself. So when I went on the first time I went on 30 days, of semen retention, I actually got better eyesight because the seminal fluids pull from everywhere in your system.
Okay, wait. When did you first go on it? That was when you were in college and the coach told you to do it, or?
Oh, I'm sorry. This was recently. Like when I actually knew about the community. Like when I was in boxing, I did. Like when I knew a fight was coming up, I'll go like 2 weeks or somewhere to that degree. But to actually go like a full month, I'll say the first time was earlier this year.
Wow! So you did this as a full blown married man with a vagina, for lack of a better way to describe it, laying in the bed next to you. You actually pulled that off.
Yeah, wow. Given circumstance, my wife was pregnant at the time, so it wasn't that.
Yeah.
So it was kind of the perfect time to do it,
Okay, let me go ahead and ask this uncomfortable question. Say thank you, Melody, for the super chat. I've been married before. I know how when women pregnant, their body go through changes. I know how when women get married, and as I say, their relationship goals bucket list is complete. Sometimes they could, take it or leave it. Sometimes when it comes to sex, it depends. It depends on a lot of different things. But a woman been married for a while, got a lot of kids, body went through all them changes. She just like gone. Was that an element of it that helped? Like it wasn't. Yes, you were, I suppose, going on some type of journey or whatever, but was she denying you in the process? Was that part of the...
No. I let her know up front what was going on, why I was doing it, and she was with it. It was kind of a neutral, I won't say it was neutral because I came with her to the idea like, hey, I'm gonna take 30 days to really focus on building my body up. And at that time, I had a financial goal in mind. Mm-hmm. We had one car at the time, and as she was pregnant, she had to get to doctor's appointments, and I was working, and so I was like, well, let me get on this journey, and I'm gonna make $10,000 this month. Mm. And so I was like, well, in order for me to do that, I'm going to have to work hella hours, and obviously she's waddling around, and she needs help, so I needed to also hire a nanny. So what did I do? I worked 14 hours every day for that entire month.
Monday through Sunday?
Monday through Sunday for an entire month, and brought home $10,000, bought a vehicle straight cash, paid out the nanny. You know what I mean? And the reason why you go on this journey, it's not like it's something you do for the rest of your life. It's mainly when you're trying to accomplish something. A lot of your greats, from Mike Tyson to Kanye West, when you got a big project that you need to get done, sometimes you just gotta, use every bit of amount of energy you can and put it into that project.
Well, what would you say to those that would argue that that yes, this big project need to get accomplished, but if I'm going to be working this hard, I need that release at the end of the day. I need to. I got the bus a mean splendiferous one all over the place and pass out and fall asleep. It was like that makes sense to me.
Well, it makes sense because we have the desire for quick gratification, and when you retain your seed, it gives you more drive. You know how like when you was in high school and you had that dude who was always angry all the time, always ready to fight, was just a tensed up dude, and y'all were like, man, he need to get laid. You know what I mean? You kind of, for depending on what you're doing, you kind of have to have that, that drive behind you. That when your seed contains all that testosterone, and as you get older, you're not going to produce that much testosterone, as you did as you were younger, unless you were just like an exceptional athlete. And so, it kind of gives you that more, and I hate that I'm saying it this way, it gives you a more of an alpha, it gives you more of an alpha demeanor. You know what I mean? It gives you more of an alpha demeanor. And I'll attest to this myself. Like, I'm pretty laid back. I'm a pretty chill guy. But, when I was, when I was spanking it heavy, I was, a borderline pushover pretty much. I never pushed back on anything. Whenever somebody said some confrontation, I was like, oh, well, sometimes how the wind blows, and I just kind of just brush it off instead of actually, taking it head on. But when you're doing something that strategic, you need every ounce of energy you can in order to knock something out. So, for example, one benefit is, when you don't release, there are reports, I can't confirm this myself, but brothers say they don't need that much sleep. They can rock off of 4 hours of sleep and carry the whole day. So I'm not, I really think, and every brother should, get on this journey and just try it at least once, because it tests to your amount of sexual discipline. Like, can I not do it for 30 days? And there's also some sexual benefits in it too.
All right, let's talk. Now, this is the part where I might got some serious agreement with you if I think you're going where I think you're about to go with this one. But let me shout out Wayman Brown came through with the super chat. He says, remember the commercials in the 90s? Remember the commercials in the 90s about your brain on drugs? Yeah, those ones was wild. I remember I had to do some something in school where I had to do like a little equivalent presentation that was recorded. Somebody got me on tape doing a this is your brain on drugs presentation. So yeah, those were funny. I remember those. Says we should also have your brain on pornographic material commercials to show the effects. I'm not completely. We're gonna get back into that. We're gonna get back into that. I'm not completely sold on the effects of that, but I think where he was, Coach Ali was about to go, I think is somewhere where I can go. But coming with an open mind. I already told y'all before that I've had a philosophy of get one off every day. I've had that philosophy, but I'm listening. I'm hearing it out, but but let's just keep it moving. Omega Dre's gaming channel. He says he said fist. Oh my goodness. See, and you said your vision got better when you went NOFAP. Okay. I need to do something with my vision. My vision be blurry up in this joint. He said fist of the North Star here. Nan, but in her box. Aura. I have no idea what you're talking about, Omega Dreads. I never know what you're talking about, Omega Dreads.
Yeah, that went over my head.
Yeah, no. That's Omega Dreads. We nobody ever knows what he's talking about. It's cool. He just be typing random words. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. He said low.
Yeah. I mean, the low zinc. That zinc is very important with reproductive organs and immunity defense. So I have seen reports where brothers are like, when I went on this journey, they didn't get sick as much. So,
all right, you were talking about the sexual benefits of it. Once you start back getting it in, the benefits of it. So go ahead and elaborate and expand on that one.
So, I mean, basically, the main sexual benefits you get after going on this journey is mainly you can last longer, and you are more firmer in size. I won't say increased in size, but I will say firmer in size. Because when you have time to retain, your body can actually put the testosterone and the nutrients and everywhere it needs to go in the right direction. But every time you release, your body is, trying to scrounge up, nutrients from other places. So it takes it from your eyesight, takes it from your, from muscle and ligaments, because it has to redistribute.
Hey, this is funny to me because I be sitting here every day struggling to see the screen, talking about I can't see that well. I need glasses, but I'm also the same person who's like, yeah, I get one off every day, no matter what. So it's funny that you're saying that it takes from your eyesight when you keep doing it, and I'm over here going blind. But anyway, carry on.
I mean, there's an ongoing myth. I don't know how true it is, but I could see how it could be true. Is that every load of semen contains like 6 steaks, 10 eggs, 6 oranges, and 2 lemons. And so when you go on this journey, you're going to realize that you're going to have a lot more energy. And, not just with the sexual benefits, but you have better work performance, your voice gets deeper, it's almost like you go through a second puberty. Like I said, your eyesight gets better. And for me in particular, I lost weight when I did it, because when you lose all that testosterone, you don't have, the capability to build a lot of muscle tone because all your testosterone's gone. Shout out to Coach, shout out to O'Shea. I see he's in the building.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so back to the lasting longer piece, because I had a conversation about this before, and a brother was like, well, how do you get to last longer if you haven't built? And that's typically if the journey has been longer. It won't happen in 30 days. But if you think about it, you train your body to release in 2 minutes or less. When it feels just right, when you got the height of stimulation that you need, it won't take you that long to get one off. And so if you really concentrate and hone in, and rewire your whole entire system to say, enjoy the intimacy, rather than just trying to get one off and be done, your body rewires itself to actually last longer.
Okay. The part that you said that I agree with, because like I said, get one off every day. But whenever I, slip up and, and don't get one off every day, like if I go a while, let's say I slip up and I go 72 hours, it does seem as if, yes, it's like you get, I don't know, it's like you're getting more blood flow down there. I don't know if that's the scientifically,
you're exactly right
way to explain it. It's like you're, okay, somebody gonna clip this and gonna criticize us because we can't just be sitting here talking about Johnson's, but your erection is more when you go a while without releasing. That's one thing I could say that flies in the face of my personal therapeutic method of getting one off every day. If I mess around and go 72 hours, I can look down and see the difference when it's time to go again. And I'll even hate to tell a personal story, but I hate to put my woman in this, but she I remember I happened to go roughly 72 hours, which is a rare thing for me because by hook or crook, I'm getting one off every day. But I went like 72 hours, and then that blood flow, it increases, and it's visible, like you can see it. And she looked down and she saw it and was like, "Wait, hold on, wait, she had to back up, like, hold on, what you about to do to me up in here? Like, you know,
She must have thought you were taking them rhino pills.
yeah, she thought I was, yeah, she thought I was, thought I did popped one of them pills. I'm like, nah, this is me off 3 days off, you know, because it is a difference when you take some time off and then get back on the horse. That's the one thing that I can say with my own eyes. I've seen, I've noticed, and I agree with. I never knew, or never thought of it like the whole you last longer thing. I mean, not to humble brag, I've never had a lasting long problem, but it for me, taking time off, if anything, is gonna make you go quicker. That's what I always thought with that.
Well, and like I was saying, it's because you're wired to, you know, to get it off as quick as you can. And so, I guess I should expand a little bit on a little bit longer. The reason why you'll be able to go longer is because you'll be able to control it more. And so what I mean by that is, you know, everybody has, what's it, the sphincter muscle, or your PC muscle is what, you know, they use in the science terms, you know, where they have ladies do the Kegel exercises to tighten them up.
Okay.
So guys,
but when you said sphincter, okay, go ahead.
So guys can do the same thing, and the reason why guys should do Kegels is because that muscle back there does a lot of work. That's what sends the blood flow out. That's what sends the seminal fluids. And so if you have a weak PC muscle, when you're about to go there, you can't stop it. You know what I mean? As soon as you start getting that feeling of, okay, here we go, count down about 30 seconds, you know, usually you can, if you have a stronger PC muscle, you can control it and last a little bit longer. You know, when everything's starting to get hot and heavy, you know, you can tighten that muscle in action to kind of stop the stimulation. You know,
interesting, but I'm good.
I'm just saying.
I know it's interesting. Hey, I came here with an open mind to learn. To hear that, yeah. So, you know, and what I'm finding out is a lot of people that's into that. People been asking me questions about NOFAP, and I just been punting. Every time they ask me a question about NOFAP, I punt. I'm not covering that.
And
but I was glad I found somebody who actually has done it, who can come talk to me about it, because some of my audience been wanting to get a discussion in on this.
Yeah,
real quick, before we get back in it, O'Shea Duke Jackson in the building. He says 2.0 Generals in the building. What's good, Coach Ali? What's good, O'Shea? Dropping the Poland currency. He's back in Poland. They ain't sandling it up over there for you like they was doing in Uganda. Ain't enough
Ugg boot season now.
Yeah, ain't enough sandals out there. All right, Counselor Murray in the building says salute BR and my guy Coach Ali. By the way, I finally got a camera. Trying to get like, yeah, okay, that's what's up. Yeah, get your camera work game on. Get a nice little setup. Get some lights, camera action over there, man. Definitely. Email me. We gotta set up another one. Counselor Murray. But and speaking of that, mods, go and get I can get it right here. I think I got it up. I'm about to drop your link real quick. Let's get Coach Ali's link floating around in the chat. Y'all should already be subbed to him, but if you haven't done yourself that good service of subbing to Coach Ali, make sure you go check it out.
Appreciate that.
Fantastic in the building. Yeah, we got one of the mods, or a bunch of the mods, copy and paste that what I just put in there, and then be periodically flooding that throughout the chat. We know Fantastic down with the NOFAP. Let's see. He said pelvic floor muscles are far more important than holding back. Okay, he's not with the NOFAP. I knew he wasn't. He said it's a huge part of core strength and defined lower abs. What you think about that?
I mean, yeah, he has a point, but you know, we were talking about sex, so that's why you know that was part of the conversation. If we were having like a a muscle performance kind of conversation, I definitely, would, concede to the point. We were on the topic of lasting longer. So that's why we talked about, how it could not, how it could help you reserve, stop you from spilling your seed. So, I was like, I don't agree with them. I mean, I do agree with them, but again, the topic was right. Sexual encounter. So yeah, I get what he's saying, but, and for those who don't believe me, the other brothers in this community, Steph is Cold and Rom Wills, they talk about semen retention all the time. And
but don't Steph got like a tagline like dig until she busts or until it busts or something? I mean,
yeah, but I mean, what I was saying, well, because he puts his stamp on it. He went like 120 days of not doing it. He said he actually saw an increase in size. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Listen, it's almost like taking taking one of the magic pills that, I mean, you go that long, the amount of blood flow that you're going to get down there is going to, so, your junk going to swell up. Yeah,
exactly. And so, one of the reasons why this community is so important, because a lot of us talk relationships a lot. That seems to be what a lot of the Black manosphere subjects tend to be. And for a lot of those who are addicted to adult films, a lot of times, we don't approach women, or we have I won't say we don't have no game, but the game is off, is because if you fail, then you can always resort back to the adult films. When you're on the semen retention or NOFAP journey, it forces you to increase your social skills. Because you don't have anything to fall back on, and that's what ladies too. When you don't find exactly what you want, or you don't find a strategy to get you in your foot in the door, you can fall back on what's waiting for you at the end of the night. And so when you're on this journey, it forces you to, I hate that I'm saying this, improve yourself. It gives you more drive to, at the end of the night, you'll be actually mating with someone else rather than self-simulating. So like I said, it had a lot of benefits, but a lot of us, I had an addiction for a very long time. And once I reduced and got off of the stuff, I mean, obviously I'm married now, but I noticed that social skills were definitely at a higher level, able to handle tougher conversations, escalating to sexual conversations a lot easier. It's just something you have to try on your own. I can preach it all day. I can advocate for it, put my stamp on it, whatever. But until you give yourself 30 days to actually see what you can do and what the results can be from it, then it's just a story. It's just a story until you actually experience it yourself.
Yeah. Sun is hot. Ross says, "Oh my goodness." He says, I skimmed to the end, and I'm a little disappointed that okay. He says, I reduced my ejaculation to once a week, and I do feel better. And we don't need to know about the All right, I just y'all can read it. I don't.
Y'all can read it.
But okay. So, to your knowledge, scientifically, is that a thing? Like, we are familiar with the term blue balls. Okay.
Yep.
Let's just that's where I'll take his comment and segue to there. Thanks for the super chat. Son is hot, Rod, and Sister Georgia said she got to start watching Steph is Cold, and that's just weird. Happily engaged for I don't know how much longer, but all right. Okay, let's see. Let's talk about the blue balls aspect of it. We all know what that is, and how that happens, and you talking about going a whole month. Well, before we get into the blue balls aspect of it,
Mhm.
even though black men don't actually get blue balls, the term came from white people or white men, because when they go a long time, I've heard that we just feel the pain and discomfort down there. When they feel that pain and discomfort, they can look and they can see some discoloration. That's what a white dude told me. That's the term blue balls. They balls actually do get bluish down there when they go a while without it. But before we get into that pain or discomfort that's known as blue balls, where does what he said rank in your whole scheme of things, where he said he's just reduced it down to once per week? Because you say you try to go 30 days, but that once per week, do you feel like that'll get you whatever type of benefits that you're saying that comes with it?
Absolutely. I mean, the premise is not that saying that you can't, get with the lady. You don't want to spill that seed. That's what makes you. You know what I mean? From 50 Cent to Prince to Jordan Peterson, Steve Jobs, all these people went on this journey, I guess, per se, and something fantastic has came out of that journey. So whether it's a new song, you become heavyweight champ, you create a new product, you're literally giving every single ounce of energy to yourself to create something great. You know what I mean? And so a lot of people go on this journey. Like I said, if you're working on, a song, or you're trying to get a book out, if you only need 4 hours of sleep, you could go to work at your normal job, come home, bust ass for another 8 hours working on your craft. But, instead of wasting that energy on sexual pleasure, you're actually creating something. That feeling of being horny is creative energy. And instead of creating something, we want to, pseudo create, in the bedroom.
All right. So let's talk about that going 30 days and how you're walking around. We all know that every guy, I'm assuming every guy, well, not me, not lately, because you know me, every 24 hours, but every guy has experienced that at one point in his life, that feeling down there that's known as blue balls, where it's hurting, it's just uncomfortable, it's swollen, like you gotta release. Better out than in, to quote Shrek. Better out than in. Okay, how much of a problem does that become when you're on that 30 days? I can't even imagine 30 days. I can't imagine 1 week. But so how much of a problem did that become? And shout out to the Spider, says he said NOFAP is life. I'm on 150 days. He said I'm on 150 days on semen retention. I don't know if congratulations is the right word to that, or send you my condolences. Send you a folded American flag. I don't know what to do with that information, but I'm just playing. But go ahead, let's talk about that. How much of a problem does that actually
It actually didn't give me a problem at all. How I combated it was I took cold showers every morning, freezing cold showers, and now it's become a habit. I don't take any more hot showers, like, unless I'm like.
What do cold showers do?
So cold showers, when you take a cold shower, it gets your blood pumping. It's really great for your skin. But the idea is that you want to, quote unquote, cool in order to get the body revved up, you have to cool the body down. So if you're trying to build a lot of testosterone in a little bit amount of time, like in Russia, those power lifters would take ice baths. I know we do it over here. The pro athletes do ice baths here, and I did it here. Or sit on a bag of ice. When you cool the body down, it revs everything up. It gives you your blood pumps expeditiously. You boost testosterone. like when you go in those ice chambers. I don't know if you've ever done it before, but the body gives it the like a false idea that it's dying. So it does everything it can to keep it going. And so when you take a cold shower in the morning, you know, the focus goes elsewhere. Your brain's like, okay, we gotta get the blood flowing everywhere. You know, we gotta make sure heartbeat and everything's regular. But that and sitting on ice just help just ease any tension that you may have had. But I mean, I didn't really have any real big issue with blue balls. But I mean, you know, I kind of jumped in front of it from the get-go by taking those cold showers every morning.
Yeah, that just sound. I hate a cold shower. Whenever I've ever been in that situation where I don't know if all the hot water ran out or whatever, and you was the last one to take a shower, and taking a lukewarm shower is annoying to me. But yeah, it is. That's some commitment out there. That's some commitment out there. Let's see. What else did I? Well, before let me check this. We got 133 people in here, 71 on the likes. Normally, when it's a smaller audience like this, that means the people that actually rock with me are the only ones listening. So we should be definitely doing better on the likes. We should have at least 100 right now. There shouldn't be no hate watchers in here right now. So go ahead. Let's get these likes up. Hit these likes. Hit these likes. Hit that like button. Okay, she said, okay, I was wondering about that when she said cap. I thought she was saying that the spider was capping by saying he went 150 days, and I say, no, I go every 24 hours, I get one off. No, that's not cap. That's very easy for a guy. Now, if I was saying I get actual sex every 24 hours, no matter what, then okay, that could be some cap. But I made it clear at the beginning of the show, I said it plenty of times, he's about hook or crook. One way or another, I'm releasing. That's that. Whether it's a solo, whether it's with a woman or a solo act, I'm getting that. I get one off and go to sleep. I've said that plenty of times. Ain't no cap on that. And that's been always my philosophy. That's been therapeutic. You calling her say she's attention whore. Yeah. That's what she does. That's what she does. Shout out to Dane dropping the links in there. Make sure y'all sub to Coach Ali. Make sure y'all do that. Make sure y'all sub. Darth Slothius with a name like Slothius says that's not good, but nah, I've never. I mean, it wasn't until like people start talking about NOFAP and semen retention and all of that. I haven't heard an argument as to why you shouldn't do that. I've always had thoughts of like I quoted Shrek earlier, better out than in. You're better off getting that release. You release that, and it's like then it's like you've taken a load off of yourself, literally.
But now you want content for the month of December?
What you talking about?
I'll give you $100 if you go 30 days throughout the month of December. Semen retention.
Hell no.
$200.
You couldn't pay me. You couldn't pay me. The only thing that this is the only thing I'll consider. Like when like I'll consider the no masturbation aspect of it. The no masturbation to the porn aspect of it. But as far as getting it in with my woman to completion, that ain't going nowhere. that is not going nowhere. I can tell you that right now. That ain't going nowhere.
We'll talk on the back end, but I'm gonna find a good challenge for you.
All right. I mean, I'm game. But no, I gets it in. I got to have it. But we'll see. We'll talk about it. Because this is interesting. Brothers are saying benefits from it. This segues perfectly into what I want to get into, because the perception, and shout out to Male Enlightenment TV. I'm about to read that real soon. But the perception with all of this and this was my ignorant perception. That's why I'm coming in with an open mind, really trying to listen to, you know, what you and a lot of brothers in the chat are talking about. Because my perception with all of this is like, and this was unfair, but because, you know, you're a married man talking about it, so you clearly don't have a problem getting sex. But what a lot of us heard when we heard dudes talking about some, no fat, no this, we heard guys who probably had a hard time or have a hard time getting some action from the ladies, and they just built some little ideology around it, and they're trying to say, oh, there's benefits to not having sex, and there's benefits to not doing this or not doing that. And the perception, you know, they in this space they get unfairly, you know, hit with the incel tag, you know, and all of that. They get labeled all of that stuff, and then that's why some people, and shout out to Male Enlightenment TV, who I'm sure he has some agreement with you on this. When I did a one-on-one with him, he said it made it quite clear that he's on monk mode with his going his own way. You know, he ain't dealing with the ladies at all. But I never asked him about his position on NOFAP, so I'm sure he probably got an interesting take on all of that as well. So
that's my guy right there. When he talking about that crypto, man, he gave me some tips, and my account's looking pretty nice right now. So shout out to the brother.
You know what? I just was thinking to myself that I got to send him an email because I heard that it's been going crazy. I don't know what to do with that stuff. I'm late to the party. Been trying to just slowly, you know, learn about it. But yeah, I do. I've been telling myself for like the last 2-3 weeks I got to get with ME on that one, and you know, just whip out $1,000 and be like, yo, what do I do with it as far as the Bitcoin, crypto, whatever. I don't even know how it works. I'm late to the party on it. As a lot of brothers always late to the party, stuff blow up, and then we coming in chasing our tail late, trying to figure out after it's already grown, it's already went from a molehill to a mountain, and now we trying to get on board. But but that's me right now. But I want to definitely just put a little get a little piece of money tied up into that. What was you about to say?
No, I was just gonna say to play the devil's advocate, there may be a bit of validity to the incel tag.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is I'm not putting this tag on anybody, but when I go through the NoFap community and go through the videos where brothers are like, or even white guys are like, yo, you know, before I started this journey, you know, I was puny, I didn't have no muscles, I couldn't grow a beard, my voice wasn't as deep, you know, and they went on the journey and they went through a metamorphosis. There's a white boy named Casey Xander, and he literally gets paid, you know, to coach men through the journey, and how, you know, they become more manly, more masculine through the journey. You know, they are more blunt, they're more direct, and you know, he does it for attracting women, but you know, this journey teaches you a lot of things about yourself that you don't even realize, you know. And for me personally, when I went on the journey, it was like, damn, I can literally enjoy life without having to chase sex all the time. You know what I mean? A lot of people do things with the benefit of, if I put on muscle, I can get a woman. If I make more money, I can get a woman. If I, you know, deepen my voice, grow a beard, whatever, we don't ever have the idea of just doing things for ourselves. Mm-hmm. We're doing it as a tool to attract someone else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what do you think about what he's saying right there? Nocturnal emission. I don't know.
Wet dreams.
I think wet dreams are more likely to happen. You go in 30 days, yeah, you're gonna wake up with your junk stuck to the side of your leg. Yeah, that's
that didn't happen to me particularly. But again, I only went 30 days. You know what I'm saying? If you've been a person who's been on adult sites and yanking it,
bro, broke genius, man, get the hell out of there, man. You almost don't make me throw up in my mouth. I'm not trying to I already said before, I'm not trying to boldly go where many men have gone before. Like cut it out. That's like walking into be like Indiana Jones walking into the Temple of Doom. Okay. Anyway, go ahead, Coach.
Man, I didn't forgot my thought that fast. But he was just like, stop. I'm like, oh,
got a damn lantern. Like, move. Goddamn. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
What I was saying was, so I didn't have any nocturnal emissions for the first 30 days. But again, when you've been doing this for 10, 15, 20 years, you're not going to solve an issue in 30 days. It's going to take you some time. That's why the brother who's saying he went 150 days, that takes some strict discipline. And they call it the dark side of this journey, where you might be on day 50, you may go limp for a week. Wet dreams, you start to go limp. You go on like
when you say go limp, you mean like he get to the point where he can't get it up, almost like some don't use it, you lose it type of stuff?
Not a don't use it or lose it. It's like your brain goes through a heavy rewiring. So if you've gone so long without any stimulation, then your brain is kind of like, let me shut this part down so I can fix the mental. So it's not like it just goes completely dead, but it may just be to a point where this varies for different people. So let me not put it out there like that, but they call it the flat line. They call it the flat line where you may not be able to get it up at all, or you may have difficulty. Some people flatline for a day, some people take a week. But that you're turning that corner when you go through that part of the journe. And so
it don't sound like turning a corner. That sounds like hitting a wall.
Because I mean, obviously you're able to use it at some point, but I'm just saying, like, you may go through a time where your body's going. It's kind of like, okay, have you ever fasted before, Bernard?
I've done intermediate fasting.
Okay, so I've fasted on liquids for 21 days before.
Man, you guys are like some superheroes when it comes to some of this. Not indulging, like y'all got like superhuman, not indulging strength. I don't know how people could pull that off. The most I could pull off in the realm of fasting is if I, skip breakfast, or like right now, like it's times where I've just got my coffee and I've been on the air from 9 a.m. to 1, just living off coffee, and then probably end up having dinner at 3. Have a nice big dinner or lunch, and then by the time I'm hungry again, it's late. It's close to bedtime when I'm really hungry again, and then I just go ahead and fight it on through, and then end up going to sleep, and then wake up, and then get back on coffee until I'm off the air, and then I eat again. That's what I consider my intermediate fast. I've done that, not consistently, but I mean I technically did it yesterday, and I'm technically so. That's the most I can do in the realm of fasting, but that no food, just strictly water for an extended period of time. No, that's extremely difficult for me. I struggle with that, and I don't know. I'm enamored by y'all ability to withdraw from stuff, man. I struggle from that. That's how I've talked about it before, how let me see this picture right here. Let me show you this, the picture I used to use. How do I show my, okay, wait, no, I got to do this. I got to do that. Well, yeah, even right there, if you look at that picture, you can see my face looks skinnier on that picture because I was like 30 pounds lighter back, the time flies. I didn't realize how old that picture got. And even with like this, that's the picture I first started using 3 years ago, about 2.5 years ago, when I first, came into this space and was just hopping on panels or just making a pre-recorded video here and there. you could see this. You could see how skinny my face was back then. Like when it comes to eating, indulging, like I love food, and it's a struggle. And I've gained 30 pounds, as a result of that. And so the only way I'm fighting it back now, I've been committing to getting on that elliptical, getting 4 miles in on that, getting 4 miles in on the elliptical, and doing the best I can at some type of intermediate fast. If I can stick with that for a couple months, I can lose the weight. I can lose the weight easy. So I'm not really worried about that aspect of it. But when it comes to just that full blown discipline of not consuming food at all, like, man, I'm blown away that people can actually do that, man. Yeah. So go ahead and speak on that fasting. I just wanted to say right there, the most I've ever successfully done is an intermediate fast, and that's difficult because if you don't go to sleep when anybody, if you eat at 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever time you eat dinner, you mess around and be still hungry when it's time to go to bed, or you end up being up later than what you expected to be up, and then you're walking around and you mess around and then start eating at midnight, and that just kills all your gains that day if you eat at midnight and go to sleep. So yeah, that's where the struggle is at for me. But go ahead and speak on that fasting.
And here's where I was getting with this. So even when you fast, you go through like a similar flat line where on week 2, the hardest days are the first 3 days, because it's literally your body's used to doing something every day, and when you take it away, again, your body's programmed, that you're going to eat every day. So when you get to week 2, your body is literally cleansing itself heavy. So, you tend to be more lethargic. You may not be, you get the brain fog. You're going through such a heavy detox mode that you just feel weak during that time. You get really weak. And so, just like with the semen retention and the NOFAP, it's something you just got to push through. You know what I mean? Like those type of side effects are temporary on the way to the journey. It's just like lifting weights. I mean, when you get to that heavy weight, you're going to be more sore than normal, but you push past it to get the type of gains that you're looking for. And, after that second week during a fast, the energy levels, skyrocketed. You lose, I think in that 21 days, I lost like 40 pounds.
Man.
Yeah.
Ooh, I would love them kind of results.
And I got a picture of it on my Facebook somewhere. But yeah, and that was just water and juice, fresh pressed juices. But
did you do any blending or mixing things, or because shout out to Mel Enlightenment TV in his book. Make sure y'all checking out the Brothas book. Wrote a really good book, really good book, and his links are on his YouTube page. But what he talked about, he said he went through a period. It was because of health reasons. I think he had a health scare, but he stayed away from food, and he basically was just getting, I think, fruit and vegetables and blending it and just drinking it. Like, were you doing that?
Yeah, I was just taking fruits and vegetables and just putting them right in the juicer.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. And so
I'll definitely consider that one too.
And with that, because strictly water, you'll be so weak. So with the juicing, you get the detox effect, but you still got something on your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And so usually when I fast, I do water and I do all liquids, and not just water. But anyway, but just segue, the reason why I brought that up is because when you go through that flatlining point, you're at a point where you're so weak, you're so tired, the exterior is like, man, I'm really messed up. But what's really going on the back end is you're detoxifying, you're rewiring, you're resetting your taste buds. There's so much going on the back end, that you're not seeing, that makes the results worth it in the end. So just like with NoFap, if you flatline for an entire week, you're like, my junk don't work. But what's really happening is that your body's building the testosterone. It's rebuilding the tissues that are in your junk. There's so many things going on the back end that you're not seeing. So once you get past that part, you'll definitely see benefits on the other side. And so, when it comes to fasting, NOFAP, all that kind of stuff, not only is it a physical discipline, but it's a mental discipline. And so, for all the people who are in the Nation of Islam, if you could turn down food, you can turn. I can't remember how the quote go, but it's like if you could turn down food, you could turn down sin.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
That's interesting
Yeah.
concept.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Well, let me read this super chat. Sun is hot raw back in the building with another super chat. I appreciate that. And let me see something real quick. Mod you up. And but he says, which is why I say once a week, 4 days out of the month, 26 days, anything over a month, you're asking for trouble. But you kind of just explained that, how once you push through that point, and he said it's like some reconstruction going on down there. So that's interesting. Let's see, not a super chat, but my man Pablo said something that I was trying to glance at. He says, you and me, Bernard, I got 3 days tops on water and raw vegetables. That's all I got on fasting. You better than me, because my fasting, I got a intermediate fasting is the way to go for me. Pick a time pick the best time in the day for you to eat. And they say you're not supposed to have just one meal, but they say they say it's better to have 6 small meals. But as far as intermediate fasting goes, it works for me if, like I said, have a coffee for breakfast, because coffee can curb your appetite. Coffee will make your appetite, knock out your appetite, and then just eat in the middle of the day and get nice and full, and then basically fast until that same time the next day. When I do that works for me. But just that water and raw vegetables, that's difficult.
And here's the thing, Bernard, is that if you think about eating 6 meals a day, first of all, who logically is going to have time to wake up, have breakfast, then a snack, then lunch, then a snack, then dinner, then a snack? It's for a lot of people's lifestyles, that's physically impossible.
Yeah.
And number two,
meal prepping. Yeah, people who do that, they have to be so committed to meal prepping and got to have their whole, like they walk around with a bag with food in little containers, and they got like the little clock to go off on their cell phone or on their watch. And when it's that time of the day that they got to eat, like every 2.5 hours, they stop everything they doing, eat, and then get back to do. It's like they said The Rock used to do that. Like people say, like people who've done movies with him, I heard them in interviews. They say he eats on a schedule where everything stops when it's time for him to eat. He do like 6 or so small meals a day. Just spread out. Like you eat at 12, you eat at 2, or he probably starts early. You probably eat at 10, eat at 12, eat at 2, eat at 4, eat at 6, and then you're done. But
right.
Small meals. I think that's more or less what he do. Hopefully you held your thought, because I cut you off, but I'm gonna go ahead and read these super chats that's coming on in. Appreciate everybody who's supporting the channel. He says, good morning from the Bay Area. Oh, that means you up kind of early. What time is it? It's 10.
So 10, like 7 there.
Yeah, it's 7:25. Up early on a Saturday. He says, good morning from the Bay Area. I'm 41. I went no FAP and no PMO. That is that
that's prawn masturbation orgasm.
Okay, gotcha. So he says, for 3 months I cut the red meat. That's allegedly important, so they say, but I love a good steak. He said, did kale juicing and morning wood eventually returned.
Quick side note, do you Bernard, do you have an air fryer?
No, I've been plotting on getting one. I saw an infomercial with some loud Billy Zane sounding guy yelling about an air fryer that he kind of sold me. He was real good, so I might end up getting one.
Hey, my wife talked me into getting one, and that was the best idea ever, man. Like it's we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it on the back end. But yeah, get your air fryer. If you like a good steak, air fryer. Definitely get
Right.
an air fryer. But
Right.
but yeah, so with what I was saying was, so when it comes to the 6 meal piece, is that when it comes to losing weight, we're using common sense science here. It's calories in versus calories out. So most Americans have a sedentary lifestyle where they're sitting in a desk typing on a computer. And so if you're just sitting there eating 6 meals a day, and you're not burning it off, then what's the point of eating 6 meals?
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? It's just sometimes you got to just think about it like in a common sense form. So, so shout out. I read. This is actually a good book for you to read, Bernard. I'll send it to you. Terry Crews wrote a book, and Terry Crews is kind of like the poster child for the NoFap community and intermittent fasting. He did,
That ain't
he
a good
talked.
look. That ain't a good look for y'all. If the guy who got me too'd by a man is the spokesman for your group, but carry on. I had
No,
to slip
I
that
know.
one
I
in there.
mean,
I had to slip that one in there.
no, it is what it is, But
Yeah, yeah.
you know, he talks about how intermittent fasting helped him with training, and you know how it is. You eat a big lunch at work, and you sleepy by 2 o'clock for those who work a 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're trying to stuff all that food in, but if you're just sitting there, you're not burning it off. Then what's the point of eating? You know what I mean? And so sometimes you have to take a step back and think about what people are asking you to do. I'm going to eat 6 meals, but I'm not burning it off. You know what I mean? So the
Yeah.
reason why you fast, is to, I mean, obviously it's to cleanse. You know what I mean? And so people are like, well, aren't you going to get hungry? I mean, if you go to the elementary definition of what fat is, it's extra energy stored in your body. You know what I mean? And so when you fast, what you're doing, you're burning off your reserves. That's literally what fasting is. That's not the sole purpose of it, but that's a benefit. Is you're literally burning off the extra reserves you got sitting around the middle. You know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they try to overcomplicate science when you literally just got to go, to the natural stuff. And I know you're not a natural person, but this is a natural medicine. Most animals don't eat every day. I know we're not animals, but if you think about,
Mammals. We are mammals, and I do understand. Well, mammals need to eat every day. Like an alligator or a crocodile or something, they could eat one rabbit and then go 2 weeks without eating again and be just fine.
right. So what I'm saying is, if you don't eat one day, you're not gonna die. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, but
Yeah.
well, no, well, I heard Neil deGrasse Tyson actually break this down. He said basically the way that our whole I'm not even going to try to use all the scientific-y words that he used, but the way that our system is set up is made to where we're us being warm-blooded and a few other factors. He said it's made it to where we're constantly hungry. Like we need to constantly fuel ourselves. That's the way that our system is made up. So we're hardwired to want to do that. That's the biggest thing that we fight with. I've heard it scientifically broken down. Like, for example, the reason that we want sugar so much because small amounts of sugar is good for you. Sugar in small quantities is good for you.
Natural sugar, right?
Yeah, and early on when we were, no, a lot of people don't like when I talk about evolution and whatnot, but when we were evolving, sugar, it wasn't there in abundance. It was there in small quantities. So we craved it. So we would actually go and get that that sugar that wasn't in abundance. We craved it because the body needed it. So we, really fought and worked hard to get it. But now that we've, conquered the world, sugar is in high abundance, but we can't change the fact that our body naturally craves it because it was in such small abundance, but the body needed that small amount of it. So it's like we're stuck with this body that's hardwired to constantly crave sugar, but now we're sitting here today with this overabundance of sugar. We're hardwired with this body that's designed, that's made in a way, being warm-blooded and everything, to where we constantly feel like we need to eat. A living organism, the number one goal of it is to survive, regardless of regardless of whether it's a mammal, reptile, or amphibian, or microbial organisms. The goal of it is to survive, and one way you survive is by consuming. And when the things that we needed to consume was not in abundance, it was it was built into us to constantly want it, to constantly go after it. And that's what I think the problem is. We're hardwired to want to consume, but we got an overabundance of everything. So that's why we walking around fat nowadays, because we're hardwired to just need it, to want it, and there's too much of it here now. So that's why, that's the reason why it's difficult, why it's going to always be difficult. But it is true. Yes, we can survive off very small amounts. We can go 24 hours without eating. And, you may feel a little, little slow. Like when I try to get rid of carbs, sometimes I'll get like I call it the no carb headache. When I try to get rid of carbs. Your body didn't get its fix. Might get what?
Your body didn't get its fix.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it is true that no, we don't have to, eat every day or every few hours or every, we don't have to do that, but we're fighting against programming or hard wiring, and that's the difficulty. That's why we walking around obese in America with all this overabundance of food.
And if you don't eat every day, how are the markets and the restaurants supposed to make money?
Right. I never thought about that.
It's a marketing play.
Yeah, there's industries that only exist and can only exist and only make the money that they make under the premise that people are going to be fat. Because if everybody ate a healthy, reasonable diet, even if people didn't overeat, restaurants could stay open, but not that many of them. Restaurants, somebody need to do the math on that to figure out if Americans didn't overeat, how many restaurants would close? How many jobs would be lost in the economy? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If everybody stopped overeating, that's interesting. It's almost like the economy is built on the fact that they know that we're going to be some fat slobs and overeat. That's crazy.
Absolutely. Think about it. If every new mother breastfed, Garber would be out of business overnight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I remember what happened. The baby was crying because my wife wasn't producing enough milk right at that moment.
Just going to ask about that. Hold on, real quick. Hold your thought on that one. The RX Dad Zero. Thanks for the $20 super chat. I appreciate that. I think you are ranked up as well. Let me double check. I think you're definitely trying to make sure people who support the show got wrenches. Appreciate all your brothers. Appreciate all your brothers. He said, greetings, but now I hope all is well, Mr. Ali. I've been attempting semen retention myself, and I do notice the benefits, but I constantly stray off the path around 2 or 3 weeks. I thought he was about to say 2 or 3 days, man. Y'all are superheroes at not getting one off. I swear. I don't know how y'all do it. That's amazing. But what's your method to control your urges? Okay, hopefully you hold your thought on the previous thing that we was talking about breastfeeding. Yeah, 2 men about to talk about breastfeeding. Yes.
I know. I got you.
I'll hold your thought on that. But answer his question. He's saying, what's your method to control the urges?
So the biggest thing with this is staying busy. Mind you, your brain is programmed to want sex. Your brain is programmed to want stimulation because you've been giving it to it for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, depending on how old you are. So, that's staying off the
and just to cut you off real quick. And like I say, I like to look at the evolution and the science of it. We're hardwired as living biological organisms to every time you get horny, that's your genes telling you to replicate, even though, we don't want to have a baby every time we have sex. But as far as at the gene level, yes, your genes, that's what they're telling you to do. We're hardwired through evolution to want to propagate our DNA as much as possible. So that's what's happening there. So you're fighting against millions of years of hardwiring through evolution every time you try to stop doing that. So just
Yeah.
but go ahead.
So it's just a matter of staying busy. I mean, it's just like when a person's trying to lose weight. You stay away from the restaurants. You stay away from DoorDash. You stay away from the kitchen after 6 o'clock. You know what I mean? And I know it's easier said than done, but luckily I have an out with my kids. As soon as I'm done with work, I take, I play with my kids and read them a story. Do whatever fixer-upper project I got going around the house. So by the time, they go to sleep, me and the wife hang out for about, a couple hours till she fall asleep. And then usually by that time, I'm taking notes or doing something. You just got to, you staying busy. What they say, idle mind is the devil's playground.
That is the quote. That is the quote.
Yeah. The idle mind is the devil's playground. And so the more you're just sitting there, then of course your mind's gonna be like, well, you ain't doing nothing. Might as well, go to the hub and see what's on. You know what I mean? Like, as long as you are able to stay busy, then you're able to not. And that's the big benefit. I would say with NOFAP is staying busy. Mm-hmm. Completing tasks. Getting projects done. But yeah, so staying busy is definitely going to be your biggest tool in order to complete the journey. And and here's the thing: if you slip up, it's gonna happen. Every guy is not gonna be able to go 300 days, straight on take one. I mean, it's gonna take some time. It takes time, and your brain has to literally, rewire itself. So you're gonna have you're fighting a hard addiction, basically. Yeah, and like you were saying, you're fighting against nature as well.
Yes, that's the biggest part to me. Not just you're fighting against your habits. You're fighting against you're fighting against millions of years of nature. That's the key part to me. Real quick. Yeah, New came through the Cash App when I was on the air yesterday. I appreciate that. I didn't even shout you out, but I'm doing it now, man. Thanks, I appreciate that. What was I? Okay, dang, it was something else I wanted to say, but we had slipped into talking to, man, it was something else that came up. I can't think of what it was, but we had
breast milk?
Well, that too, but it was something else. It'll probably come back to me. But yeah, as far as that, because I know y'all are probably on your natural. She only breastfeeds. Yeah, I don't do the Similac and Infamil and none of that, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so this is something I always wanted to know, because what I noticed when I was married, she was because we did like a hybrid of the two, because when she would be pumping, she would pump for a long time, but only get like that much in there. So I'm like, breasts don't produce that much breast milk to where the baby need like anywhere from 6. I forgot. I'm thinking like 4 bottles a day or something like that. Right?
Yeah, babies need a lot. And so that's a dietary thing. So if you're looking at what increases breast milk. So when I was saying in the story, the baby was crying. So she wasn't feeding fast enough. One of her family members was like, "Why don't you just go, to the store and get some Similac?" And we're like, "Fuck no, I'm not." I did it again. But
right. It happens. But actually, low key, when you're an hour in, you can slip in a cuss word here and there. That's a YouTube.
I'm like, I'm not about to put soy into my son, number one, and all of the other things that are in those formulas. And so what I did was I mixed a little bit of juice and a little bit of water, just a little bit. I didn't want to overload his senses, and mixed it, and kind of gave him some juice to kind of hold his stomach. And I fed my wife some fennel seeds and some other leafy green vegetables, and that kind of helped the production of milk. And about 30 minutes later, she was feeding them. So yeah, that's we're programmed. It's like, okay, baby's hungry, gotta get some Similac, gotta get some formula. But I mean, there's natural remedies, because what were people using before formula. You know, you
Yeah,
know,
I've always wondered about that when I saw how my ex-wife, how she wasn't producing enough breast milk, and I'm like, well, you would think babies was starving back, 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. You think they would have had to been starving, but like you're saying, there probably was some natural stuff that, I mean, everything they eat to some degree had to be natural back then, and that probably was better for the body, so it made the body produce more breast milk. So yeah,
there's definitely alternatives. Like a lot of people make coconut milk alternatives, where they take coconut milk, which is really light on a baby's stomach, and and this is, I'm not like a baby expertise, but I'm just saying what worked for my wife and I. Sometimes we would take like a mixture of sea moss, coconut milk, a couple other nutrients, and we'll splash a little bit of just a wee bit of sweetener. So he'll take it down. But yeah, that breast milk is a dietary thing on the woman. So there's definitely foods that could increase the breast milk supply. But to segue really quickly, and the reason why I was saying one of the reasons why NoFap is so difficult is because unlike animals, humans don't have a mating season.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Animals have a period of time where they all mate, compared to, from January to December, any day is fair game.
Mm-hmm.
And so usually, the animals save up their seed, their testosterone. So when it comes for mating season, you can fight off the other potential males. And then when it's time to mate, you're given the best nutrients into the sperm that's going to eventually turn out to be your child.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I never thought about it. Never thought about it that way, because when you were saying that, I'm looking at something that's distracting me. Let me get this off my screen. Hold on.
No, you're good.
Nah, I saw something on my monitor that was I got multiple windows up. Had to get rid of that, so I was getting distracted. But no, I thought about how when you talk about how you have more testosterone and more nutrients and oomph in you from not releasing, and then but animals, because the majority of them cannot masturbate, even though you do a few YouTube, Google searches, you can find it if that's what you're into. There's a few of them that somehow, some way have figured it out, but most of them can't. So they naturally would be, as I would say, backed up, but you would say properly balanced, to the point to where they got all the testosterone and everything that they need inside of them. So yeah, so they're ready to fight. But just being able to masturbate and get it off easy, it's sort of what's the right word? I see how it ultimately I don't know, neutralizes men. It sort of tames the animal within, so to speak. You're taming the part that you need to be able to get out there and perform. You're releasing it, and you shouldn't be releasing it that much. I understand the logic of the argument there. I do definitely get that. Never thought about it, because I do like to look at things from other animals. I know people got different beliefs on whether or not human beings are animals, but we are biologically mammals. So there it is.
Right.
We can compare and contrast. So I do like to look at the science, look at the animal kingdom, look at I look at what chimpanzees, bonobos, I forgot the name of those, but those ones that are, they're like chimpanzees, all the apes and the stuff
orangutans
they do that. Yeah, they're most they're most similar to us. So I do like to look at nature, and then use that as a little scale to try to and study human behavior before that. Even though we're smart and build civilizations and get outside of the confines of nature in many ways, I still like to look at nature and look at history and draw parallels. But that is interesting. One thing that I am the most shocked about from doing this stream is exactly how many NOFAP semen retention people are actually in the chat. Many of them that I've talked to, interacted with. I had no idea. Like, this is like a bigger thing than what I actually thought.
It's a really big thing, Bernard. And the thing is, like I was saying, I was going to chime in when Ramil was on yesterday. You know, when he was saying, you know, we're not the least sexual discipline. I would say that's half true. And the reason why I say that is because if you think about what we talk about in this space, it's, you know, do you have to pay to get women? Do you have to have game? Do you have to have this in order to, you know what I mean? Is paying for dinner tricking? Like the conversations are around women, but when you get on this NoFap thing, like I was saying earlier, you learn that there's more to life than just bussing one. You know, you're like, you know, I can, you know, get in the gym and just enjoy, you know, the gains from myself. You know, I'm on the NoFap journey, you know, to make money, and I get to just enjoy, you know, the benefits of my labor or the fruits of my labor instead of, you know, okay, I got $5,000, let me go, you know, trick on, you know, so and so. You know what I mean? Like, guys are just finally understanding, and as the manosphere grows, you know, we're finally starting to rewire ourselves that we're important as men, and and ladies kind of, you know, dangle the poom poom over our heads, and, you know, we're trying to do whatever we can to get it, and now a lot of us are starting to realize, it's not that important.
Right. I'm about to drop the link in the chat for those of you. Look, whether you're with the NoFap or not, you can come on up. I do want to hear some more NoFap people come up, or NoFap semen retention people in that community. You can come up and have your say. Talk about your no poom poom journey that you're on. You can come up and talk about that. And yeah, we'll see where it go. But the link is in the chat, so feel free to come on up. If you're in here watching, we got 143 people in the building, so go ahead and hit that like button. Appreciate everybody that came through today. And there's that. Y'all see the link? Y'all see the link in the chat? Come on up, chop it up. If you got any particular questions for Coach Ali, make sure you come on up and ask them. Or if you got comments and want to share a little bit of your story on all of this, that's fine too. Or if you disagree, come on up. And moderators, as I said before, be periodically dropping the link to Coach Ali's channel in the chat. What's going on there? January Man says small crowd equals simps not interested. He said because the audience is smaller today, those that aren't here interested in hearing about NoFap, you calling them simps because they're not interested in NoFap. I can't go that far, January Man. I can't go that far. I can't go that far. But one thing, while we wait for people to come up, one thing, because we had a few different topics on the table, and we probably cover some of those other topics later, because the two things, to me, they're always connected. Like yesterday when me and Ramil he was talking about how to win with women while still making money. You talked about how the whole NoFap journey and all of that could focus you, and the goal of it is staying busy, and that will help you make your money and get on your journey, on your purpose, on your grind, and all of that. And so when you're looking at that, and I want to find the email exactly how you worded it. It was something along the lines of actual wealth versus perceived wealth. I think you had worded it something like that. We could touch on that for a little bit while we wait for somebody to come up, or if nobody come up, we can just we can stay on that. So we'll see what happens if somebody wants to come up.
Before we segue into that, you want to hear a funny story?
Yes, go ahead.
Do you know who Jaleel Adai is?
Familiar with the name, but go ahead and refresh the audience.
He plays safety in the NFL. I believe he's with the the Houston Texans right now.
Man, a few years ago, well, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I would have you could have named anybody at any position in the NFL. I more than likely would have been able to tell you who they are. Right now, I only could tell you quarterbacks, running backs, and some of the receivers. Man, I think that was back many moons ago when I used to play Madden. I used to keep up with all the players. Man, I can tell you offensive linemen back, but yeah, I'm slacking on that. Even though I love football, I love watching NFL. Carry on.
I just looked him up. He's back with the San Diego Chargers where he got drafted. So me, him, and Antonio Brown are all on the same team. One day we're on the way to winter workouts, and he's walking to the facility. I'm driving. I didn't see him. I'm just driving, trying to get to practice. I'm getting my stuff on, and he comes in the locker room, comes right to me, and he's like, "Yo, you saw me walking?" I'm like, "What?" And so, he was like, why don't you pick me up? I'm like, I didn't see you, And so, as we start getting louder and shouting, I was yanking it so much, I couldn't put the big boy bass in my voice. You know what I mean? And so, as I'm getting louder, my voice is getting higher in pitch. And so, Antonio and a couple of other folks were laughing, like, he can't put his big boy voice on. And after the altercation, Jaleel was like, "You need to stop watching. You need to get off that hub, boy." And at first, I took offense to it. You know what I'm saying? Because I was just like, how do you know what I'm doing? But in entirety, he was right. We got into a shouting match, and about me not picking him up or whatever. I mean, we're cool now, but like as I'm getting higher and as I'm yelling back at him, my voice was high pitched because I'm losing all that testosterone. My voice wasn't getting deep, and they all was kind of teasing me like, "Oh, he can't put on this big boy voice," and so it was kind of like kind of got punked out by Jaleel that day. But it was a life lesson at that point. It was like, okay, maybe I need to do something about it. But at that point, I'm still young. I'm not thinking about it, and it's funny how it transpired till now.
That is interesting. That is interesting. Demetrius Parham in the building. I don't know what that means. You dropping them dots right there. Semen. Okay, somebody said, okay, there's the detractors. Says semen retention is a scam. LOL.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. As I felt. Okay. Like I said,
we could have a conversation about it. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where people are like, since they don't believe in it, it's a scam. And that's why I say, if you go 3, 4 days, 5 days, even a week of not, of 5 weeks of just retaining your seed, see what the difference is. I don't really have a reason to scam you. It's not like it's like sign up for the semen retention program, and when you sign up under me, you bring in 2 friends, and then you get them to sign up. It's like, no, it's just something to better your. It's something to.
He had to, like, you told him, for 3 easy payments of $29.99, I can sell you the semen retention kit.
Right, like, and you check out all these benefits. No, this is just to help you. Like, I have no vested interest in this. I mean, I would like to see more men accomplishing their goals. So I but it's not like I have a financial intention behind it. But again, it's just like fasting. I can only tell you what I've experienced, and you can look up the research of what other people have experienced. So if a bunch of people are on this journey, you're saying the hundreds of thousands of people that are doing it are wrong. And again, like, I'm willing to have the conversation, but this isn't a marketing program, like multi-level marketing, like,
exactly.
Sign up 2 people under you and get the semen retention program. Like, no, people have known about this for years. Muhammad Ali talked about it. Like I said, Terry Crews, Mike Tyson, Steve Jobs. I'm trying to think of 50 Cent did it, for a little bit of time when he was trying to get an album out. Jordan Peterson talks about it. There's a lot of people who talk about the benefits of just abstaining for a little while. And it's not like you'll never not get any again. You're just taking a little bit of time away from it so you can hone in, on yourself and then turn into something, great. Every time Prince was coming out with an album, he did it, It's just how much effort do you want to, give into a project? And sometimes you got to be willing to give up some stuff in order to make it a great product.
Ed, you need to come up and give us your thoughts on NOFAP and semen retention. Most people know Ed, formerly known as Ed the Incel. That would be interesting take, since people who talk about that are already stereotyped and typecast as incels to begin with. I wonder what his thoughts on that, because a lot of people look at it as, for example, with the men going their own way. I've heard somebody say that, I think it was actually Donovan Sharp or somebody, one of his guests, somebody said, no, they were sent their own way because, the market didn't choose them, so to speak. And I wonder, can that at some level be a factor in? Okay, well, we talked about that earlier, how that could be a factor in the equation, where some men just wasn't getting it in with the ladies anyway, and they just I'm going to pull back from the porn too and see if I could refocus or recalibrate my life and my body in some type of way.
Come back to the market with a better product.
Yeah, there you go. Okay,
that's what all it is.
Oh, thank you, Ed. Thank you. We needed to know that in those exact words. Thank you very much. Thank you. We that's what we wanted to hear. Okay, and we need to know exactly. Don't type in what you don't. Please don't type what you put in the search engine. We don't need to know specifically what you're into. We don't need to know that.
And here's the thing: is that if you just because you cannot, succumb to your habit doesn't mean that the practice is invalid. You know what I mean? It's just like when people say, man, I can't do, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, fasting don't work, man. I got to eat every day. It's like, okay, because you don't have the discipline, to give up food. That doesn't invalidate the practice. Right. If you just can't do it, just say you can't do it. And it's just honest. It's just the honest. Like, I choose not to go on this path because I enjoy my habit. I don't see, I value it too much to give it up.
Yeah, no, that's basically what I said earlier in the show. I said I'll consider no porn, because I mentioned Donovan Sharp. He talked about that before, actually, when he was on the Brother Pill. So him, O'Shea, and LAR.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're absolutely right.
Yep, they talked about that, and Donovan Sharp was saying, "Hey, this ain't a moral thing. It ain't a religious thing. It ain't." But he just broke down and explained that yes, when he gave up the pornographic material, he gave that when he stopped doing that and stopped masturbating. Basically, he said it centered him and it focused him. Now he still had sex and got it in with his woman, and that's where I'm at with it. I'll consider giving up the porn and just getting one off just to get one off, just for the hell of it. I consider giving that up. But as far as actual getting it in with my woman, no. That ain't going nowhere. Even when you talked about getting it in but not bussing, no. That's not. And I'm not going to sit here and say that the things that you're saying, the benefits of it, well, that ain't gonna work. That ain't that. No. I'm not gonna argue with you on that unless I got some actual proof that you're wrong. I will lay out the proof as to why I think you're wrong. But if I don't got no proof why you're wrong, I'll listen to what you're saying, but I know where I'm going to draw my line. I'm not giving up getting one off during actual sex. That's fair. That's where I draw my line. Even when it comes to my dieting, I can give up liquid calories. Like even with this coffee, it's a minimal amount of calories in it because I got this non-dairy, non-sugar creamer that probably got some other stuff in it that ain't good for the body, but it's only like 15 calories a teaspoon, something like that.
There you go.
And so it's minimal calories in here when it comes. So I can give up, other than this coffee, I can give up my liquid calories throughout the day, and that's very important. I can give up sugar, all the candy and sweets and junk food. I can give that up. At my absolute best, when I got down, almost got as a full blown adult over 30, almost got down to my playing weight, my fighting weight. Even though, well, I say playing weight, but you know what I'm talking about when I say fighting weight.
Right.
Almost got down to my fighting weight because for like a 2-3 month period, I was able to give up liquid calories, any type of sugar, carbs, and beef. And well, I kind of dabbled, ducked in, and I'll play hokey pokey with the beef and the pork here and there. But it was a good period where it was no liquid calories, no sugar, no carbs, no beef, no pork. When I was able to just stay that focused and get all those things going, man, the weight just fell off. Like people were looking at me at work, like, dang, did you just lose 30 pounds? Like, yeah, literally, like 1 month. Like I lost like 30 pounds in a month, and I wasn't even working out. I just gave up all that stuff. Right now, for whatever reason, it's difficult to give up all that. The only thing I can give up right now, which I've been doing good, fingers crossed, I've been doing good lately. I've given up, like I said, my liquid calories and the sugar. Still a little carb happy, and I haven't given up beef and pork. But I've gotten rid of the things that I know I can comfortably do, mixed with some work on the elliptical. So that's where I'm at with it now. But I'm not going to sit here and ignorantly say, man, giving up the carb and the beefs, that's a scam. It ain't gonna work just because I don't got the willpower right now to give it up. That's what I don't like when people do, when they try to say something don't work because they don't got the willpower to do it. I'm not going to argue with somebody and say something don't work because I don't got the willpower to do it, just because I don't have the willpower to not get it in and bust one. I don't got the willpower, but I'll consider the giving up the I'm trying not to say that. Yeah, giving up the pornographic material. I consider giving that up. I've heard some definitely some respected people talk about the benefits of letting that go and how you get a certain type of focus when you're not wanking off and watching porn and all of that. So that's something that can be considered. That's something that can definitely be considered. But
absolutely.
Let's get into it looked like ain't nobody coming on up, but let's segue into what you were talking about, because one thing that I always say, Black people get criticized, or we are the amount of wealth compared to white people wealth, and what I always say, a lot of that is wrapped up. This is just my theory. You probably definitely know more about this than me, but my theory on it is most of their wealth is tied up in homes. That's where most families' wealth is at. They own actual houses. People typically buy houses when they get married. Black people not getting married that much. They're not buying houses that much. So we don't own property. So a lot of times when they say the average white person's wealth in this country, $150,000 or $180,000, yeah, they've bought some houses. Grandma and them probably bought some houses and paid them off, and they just keep the house in the family. It's so the kid grow, leave it to one of the kids. That kid automatically got $150,000 wealth, even though he's just a regular person working a regular job, making regular money. But as far as wealth, he's worth 150. He has a net worth of $150,000. You see, versus a Black person who didn't get left nothing and didn't buy nothing, gradually paying it off. Then their wealth is nothing. They're paying rent somewhere. So there's that. So I always say to solve the wealth problem, okay, if y'all want to see that number get better, okay, start buying houses. But then again, I think this leads into what you're talking about when you say perceived wealth versus actual wealth, or perceived money versus actual money. I don't know if that ties into it, but go ahead and break down and explain what exactly did you mean by that.
No, you're absolutely right. And really quick, I'm so glad that you said that. So if you don't know, I am in the mortgage industry. Ironically, I'm an underwriter. So I approve loans for people to get homes. And but now you won't believe what I see on the daily. I will see parents refinance their house in order to take the equity out their home and turn around and purchase their child a starter home.
Oh. Is that a bad idea or good idea? I don't know if that's a good idea or no. Break it down.
Well, I mean, if you're at that age where, you know, you want to start your child off on a good foot, you know, on a good note, you know, they purchased them a home because they got the credit, they got, you know, everything to that degree. And, you know, the child starts off with the home, you know, they don't have to struggle to get, despite all the, you know, the amount of programs for FHA or anything to that degree. But, you know, and I see it where they don't refinance their home. They just buy their child another house. You know, they buy a home while they're in college, so they have a stable place to live. But, you know, the real estate is where it's where it's at. But the reason why I talked about I'm talking about it is because if this housing crash happens like it's supposed to in 2021, for those who are looking to buy a house, it's going to be a gold mine. So whether, you know, you could afford a small bungalow or a big colonial, you know, I would say to save your money, because, you know, right now interest rates are as low as 2%, which they.
Hold on, let me push pause, because I am planning on buying a house in 2021. So you're saying that's the best time to buy because it's a supposed crash on the way, which means that $250,000 house might very well be $150,000.
That is correct.
Oh yeah.
But on top of that, so what a lot of the people really make their money are tax lien properties. And tax lien properties, to make a long story short, people owe money on the taxes, or people owe, you know, taxes on their house. You know, the mortgage is, you know, already defaulted, so the county is just trying to make their money. So you can get a house, and I'm just saying, just here in Michigan, you can get a house for as low as $1,500.
I thought you were going to say 15,000.
Nope, $1,500. Now, what kind of state what kind of condition the house is in, who knows? But obviously, you know, you get what you pay for. So you may be able to get a nice looking house for $5,000 cash. Going to these tax auctions, because the county is just trying to get their money. The mortgage is already defaulted. You know, the bank already got their money on the back end. So the county is just trying to make up for you not, you know, paying those property taxes. So you may be able to go to, Bernard, may be able to go to the Saginaw County building and find out when the tax lien auctions are. And if you're sitting on $5,000, $10,000 cash, you might be able to walk away with the house that's ranging in property value from anywhere from $30,000 to $100,000. You know, it just depends on who you're competing against. But the reason why we talk, I was talking about perceived wealth versus actual wealth, is because if you notice, when people get money, the main thing they want to do is advertise that they have money. You know, and I'm guilty of it, Bernard. I love suits. You know, I buy blazers, jackets all the time. Yeah. You know, I always like to dress nice, good dress shoe, a good Chelsea boot. But I had to think about it because I got a big bonus this past month, and after I paid my bills, you know, that was the first thing I thought about was, you know, what kind of clothes can I get? Like I got toys for the kids, you know, because we got the lockdown coming up. But it was kind of like, what can I actually do with this money since I got it? But then I turned around and looked at the market, you know, for 2021, because, you know, in Michigan, they're not doing the tax lien auctions right now because of the situation going on out there. I know you can't say it on the air, but it was kind of like, why would I want to take all this money, this thousands of dollars that I've earned for a good performance, and put it in my wardrobe when I can go put it in another property? You know, and again, you know, it's a lot of people tend to have these habits of when you get money, you want to spend it right away. You want to, you know, splurge in your accounts instead of, you know, doing things like all three of my children have life insurance, or, you know, I have a life insurance policy. So if something were to happen to me, you know, my children would be okay. And the things that our community don't talk about, because, you know, we don't have that that foundation, that family structure, like you were saying, you know, if at least if you own a house, like I have 3 kids, you know, if you, I say my house is what I don't know, this house is like $90,000. When that's on the property value or whatever. If I were to go and if I were to split that, you know, 3 ways with the kids, that's what 30,000 a piece. If they cashed it, you know, if they sold it, yeah, 30,000 a piece that they can at least walk away from with it if I were to expire by any, you know, tragic reason. But, you know, we don't look at the long term when it comes to wealth. We want to enjoy what we have right now instead of trying to invest in the future. And that's why I was talking about brother is it Oheen
Mora, Male Enlightenment TV.
From Male Enlightenment. You know, I paid for a consultation with him, and he was, you know, he gave me a couple links, or he gave me a couple suggestions to where to put my money into crypto, and my profit's been looking pretty nice, you know. And you know, I still
how long ago did you do that? Did you put it in there?
Baby was just born, so maybe about six weeks ago.
And you're already seeing turnaround on that?
Yeah, the turnaround is slow because I didn't put as much money into it, but you know, I've definitely seen some increase in profit. So I can't say the brother's not lying. You know,
right. Yeah, I gotta get with you or him on that. Yeah, I need the plug on that.
Yeah, gold and silver. You know, I have silver coins, silver bars. You know, sitting in my house. Again, it's this perceived, like, what is actual wealth? You know what I mean? If you have, excuse me, if you have, you know, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in gold just sitting in your house, and you bought it when it was $17 an ounce, now it's $50 an ounce. You know, you made such a heavy profit, and you know, and let's say you wanted to take that silver and buy a home, you just go and cash it in. That's what Robert Kiyosaki and his wife did when the housing market crashed. They bought a new house, and I think the closing cost was like $100,000. They literally took their gold and silver that they bought, cashed it in, used that for a down payment.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. That is nice. We got the RX-O in the building. I think you came up trying to get back on the main topic of the NOFAP, so we can circle right back to that. We probably can get right back on the wealth versus perceived wealth topic maybe a little bit later. But if you wanted to jump in on what we was talking about before about the NOFAP, semen retention, and all of that stuff, so go ahead and fire away. You got the floor. You got the mic.
Yes, because I haven't been listening to the stream. Well, probably about midway when y'all were speaking. The part where Coach Ali had mentioned the moment where he was in that confrontation where he felt fearful. I was thinking back to when I first came to Oklahoma, and I was just driving around, and for some reason, I don't know, but I know it's a lot of guys tend to shoot you like particular looks and just mean mug you, like just in general. And I've noticed anytime a situation like that occurs, I'm like, oh man, like I'm really not trying to get any mess today. But I've noticed whenever I'm on a streak, like that's gone. And now I'm at a point where it's like, okay, like if you want to hop out the car, then feel free to hop out the car. But there are benefits to semen retention. I was skeptical about it before. I've seen a couple of videos here and there, and because I thought it was a complete joke as well. I'm like, no, this stuff doesn't work. But I want to say so my first streak again was around maybe like 2-3 weeks. But even within the first couple of days, I noticed a complete 180 just as far as with my surroundings, my personality. I became a lot more motivated. I
I became more physically active because I do martial arts here and there. But when I was on the street, it seemed like I was doing it more than I normally would have. I became more focused with school. Anytime I would get assignments, I'd be quick to just like knock out those assignments right then and there. I didn't procrastinate. And I was able to relate more with people. I noticed I was able to connect a lot more with those that were around me. So I know a lot of people are skeptical about semen retention, but I would say even like just a personal experiment, even if you do it for like a week, attempt it for like a week, and you're going to start seeing changes happening around you. Whether it's just in your personal life, your professional life, whatever the case is. But like, that's why I was trying to get the advice earlier, because I'm like, okay, I'm able to get on a roll, but it's just a matter of staying on track. That's been my main realm of difficulty, is just knowing how to stay on track and knowing how to stay busy, like how Coach Ali mentioned earlier. So that's just my 2 cents on that topic.
Right on. Coach Ali, what you got in response to that, to what the brother just said?
Yeah, shout out to the brother. Like I said, this is not an easy, this is not a cakewalk, and I'm not the poster child for this. I have my slip ups. I've had a slip up since No Nut November. Wife snuck up on me, while I was asleep, and then I didn't even think about it until while we were in the in the middle of it. Like, damn, like, but it's gonna bring a benefit to you. And I think a lot of people are afraid to embark on a journey, not only because it takes sacrifice, but they're also worried about what kind of person they will be on the other side.
Yeah, it's supposed to be No Nut November, and you didn't messed around and got her pregnant during No Nut November, man.
Nah, I couldn't do that now.
But to have another baby.
Nah, this is I'm 3 strikes and I'm out. I got my 3.
I hear you. I hear you.
I did my LeVar Ball. I'm good.
Right on. I hear you. Yeah, I don't want no. I keep talking about how I'm gonna get. I know a lot of people don't believe in it. I be talking about how I'm gonna get clipped. I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna go and get fixed. I ain't trying to have no more. It's over. It's over.
But
go ahead. All right.
Oh, were you about to say something?
Oh no, go ahead. You got it.
Oh, and I was thinking to myself a few minutes ago, it's funny that y'all were having this topic, because I'm not sure if you remember or not, but do you remember a few months back where you received a mysterious email?
Mysterious?
You received an email. Yeah, you received I saw that you had an email of a individual, that it was right after the segment where you talking about if is it over for some guys as far as like, like losing their virginity and things of that nature.
Oh yeah.
The person that emailed you was myself.
Oh man, yeah, I've been meaning to get you on the show.
Me. Yeah,
hey,
that was me.
Send me an email again. Send me an email again today after you get off here, so I can star it, and then that way I got your email saved. Because I was trying to that was an interesting email.
But that's what I meant by I was making changes and turning my life around. That's what I was referring to.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of neat how like y'all, that today just so happened to be the day where, you're talking about semen retention and knowing how to improve and knowing how to build up particular areas of your life and things of that nature. So, but I can vouch for Coach Ali. Like there are benefits to NOFAP and semen retention. And like I said, even if someone was to try it for at least a week, you'll be able to see benefits in multiple areas of your life. Because I know for me personally, I've seen them. So
Okay, I gotta ask you about this since I got you here, because you sent me the email and you said you talked before about how you would be okay with coming up and discussing what you put in the email. So I'm not like outing you about what was in the email, at least hopefully not. You mentioned how you were I think you used, if I remember correctly, you used the word incel to describe yourself. Is that correct? Or no?
well, I just said I was a virgin, never been in a relationship,
Okay.
and like never been on a date. So,
Okay, that now I remember. Okay, so
yeah.
and so I take it that you were waist deep, knee deep, shoulder deep in a bunch of porn at the time, I presume, or no?
Yes.
Okay, so what you're basically saying is that you've given up you've given up all the pornographic material and all of that, and you just got focused on your grind, on your purpose, and all of that, and those changes is helping and benefiting you. In other words,
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's just like what Coach Ali said. I still have my moments where I struggle,
of course,
but
yeah.
I always manage to get back on. It's just a matter of knowing how to maintain, knowing how to maintain pushing forward and not going back into that infinite loop.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, I had to identify first that, okay, like I do have an issue that needs to be fixed. So now I'm like in the mindset of, okay, I know what steps I need to take in order to fix the issue, but how can I maintain those steps?
Right. No, I definitely hear what you're saying. Coach Ali, you gonna oh, was you saying something? You saying something, RX?
No, I didn't say anything.
Okay, yeah, Coach Ali, would you want to give more response to that? I mean, I feel like sometimes when somebody is talking about that kind of stuff, I don't like to give somebody advice that may be out of my depth. I don't. So
Yeah.
So yeah, I am careful with that, giving somebody advice that may be out of my depth. But if you want to take a crack at that, go ahead, Ali. You got it.
Absolutely. And the thing is I'm not a dating coach. That's not my expertise. My wife and I have a marriage coaching business that we do, but I don't do the dating. I've been out of the dating game for 10 years. So, Tinder and all that stuff, that's still new to me. But what's important here, and I'm gonna go a little psychological here, is because a lot of people, don't know where their addiction comes from.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you have the sensation to do it, yes, you're fighting a natural urge, but as far as the adult films, for a lot of people, that became a habit because of an incident that happened to them. For example, I was exposed to it at an early age. As I got exposed to it, older cousins was watching it, and no one policed me to say get out of the room. And so as I saw bits and pieces of it, I kind of got curious to what sex was, how what being with a woman was like. And then once I finally got my taste of it, then I went nuts. No pun intended. But it was just like how far down this rabbit hole can I go? And as you indulge, you look up 10, 15 years later, like, wow, this small little habit has cost me it cost me during my lifetime, because I didn't pass up this opportunity. I didn't, perform in this arena, so I passed up this opportunity. There is a lot of purpose behind the journey, but until we unravel where that addiction comes from, then it's going to be a very difficult time trying to solve that issue. And for a lot of people, when it comes to counseling, when it comes to therapy, we don't want to go we don't want to go down in that rabbit hole and figure out what our issues are. But for a lot of us, it's a coping mechanism. Not saying for you, Brother Bernard, or for you, Brother RX, but for a lot of brothers, it's a coping mechanism, for whatever, issues they may be having. An incel community, obviously it's a substitute if they can't get a female. Some people use it to manage anger issues. Some people just need that. It's just like people who do drugs. They need that rush of dopamine to escape from their everyday life. And so once you figure out what's causing the habit for your urges, then you will have a better time, remedying that issue.
All right. Yeah. RX, do you feel that, since you said you've been making those changes or whatever, you feel that you've been more productive overall?
I would say so, because so let's take this for example. Before, because as far as with YouTube and observing panels and things of that nature, even this was a stepping stone for me, because I was very fearful of just speaking in person, and a lot of times I would go in and out, and I'm like, well, I think that'd be cool if I'd be able to, talk to these guys here and there. I mean, granted, even though they're a lot more experienced in life than I am, maybe I can bring something different to the table or make people view things in a different way because I've spoken on Jessica X's panel a lot as well. So that was kind of a way for me to get out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
So even that for me was progress. And I know that sounds kind of silly for you guys in the audience.
At all. I remember the first time I hopped on somebody's panel, it was probably like 25 people in there, and I was slightly nervous my first time hopping on a panel. So I understand the exact feeling. Yeah, it's sometimes for whatever reason, it's hard to explain. Your first time doing it, you're slightly nervous, but then after a while, it's turning to riding the bike, and before you know it, you're running your own channel and your own camera and all kind of stuff. But no, I understand the feeling of being slightly nervous your first time, stepping up to the plate and basically speaking publicly in some type of internet forum or something. Yeah, it can be a little nervous with that. But you saying even that was a big step. One thing that happened, when how old did you say you were? You said you were 29?
Yes, I'm currently 29.
Yeah, I'm going off memory. My memory can be bad sometimes. I'm going off memory. You said you were 29 in that email. Okay, so you are, just to make sure, you are fully functional adult, live by yourself, or no?
Yes.
Okay, so what do you do?
I have a source of income, a vehicle, and all that. I was in the military for 7 years. I have a background in information technology, and I'm actually going to school for that here at the university here in Oklahoma. But I'm already established. It's just
okay. So yeah, as far as that's one thing I was checking on before we go any further with this. I was just wanted to know that, as far as the standard typical barrier of entry into manhood, you did have that covered. You said you're in the military, you got a job, you're a fully functional, stable adult, live by yourself, got a car, doing all of that. So yeah, it sounds like it's more I guess what they would say soft skills or interpersonal skills that's probably holding you back, as far as getting something going on with a woman. Like
no. I in fact, because I was raised in my father, he was in the military himself. He's a retired sergeant major. So as far as structure and discipline and knowing how to work hard, I have no issue with that.
Yeah,
it's
that's good.
For
that's good.
What Coach Ali mentioned, being able to identify what's causing your addiction. I had to sit down one night and be like, okay, well, obviously it's stemming from me not being experienced when it comes to dating and relationships or sexuality. So I think for me, it is knowing, and that's as far as with the whole semen retention NOFAP journey, just based off of that, I'm like, okay, I'm already dead in the water to begin with. So I need to try to work. I would probably need to work harder than men that have had those experiences and are probably able to just quit cold turkey. So for me, I understand that there are a lot more obstacles for me to hop across in order to get to the level that Coach Ali is at and the point that he is in his life. So I'm able to recognize things. It's just knowing how to keep things in place.
Right. Just a curious question. This is actually a question that Kevin Samuels asks guys a lot when he encounters a guy who's nearly 30 and nearly a virgin. You normally ask the question, what happened the last time you approached a woman? Or when was the last time you actually approached a woman? If ever.
Oh God, Bernard, it's been a, let's see, I can't even tell you because it's been that, and I watch Kevin Samuels a lot too. I watch basically all his segments on a nightly basis. But as far as the last time I've approached a female, I couldn't tell you because it's months in between, and months eventually turn into years. So, like I wish I could give you an accurate answer to that, but I don't.
Yeah,
and if I give you an answer, I feel like I'd be lying to you. So.
Right. Yeah,
but it's not like, now I want everyone to keep this in mind. I'm not like, because I know when it comes to like males that are virgins and things of that nature, I'm not overweight. I don't have like buck teeth. I don't have any deformities or anything like that.
Didn't you say you were like five? Did you say you were like 5'4"? Or I'm thinking of somebody else.
I'm 5'6". I'm 5'6". I weigh, well, last time I weighed myself, I was 150.
Okay, so
yeah, I weigh like 150.
Okay, so you're in shape. I mean, you're 5'6". It's not exactly tall, but that's not a death sentence. So I'm a little confused, because you said you're a 29-year-old virgin, but I'm sitting there looking. Okay, you went to the military. You're productive. You're working. You stay by you live by yourself. Drive a vehicle. You're in reasonably good shape at 5'6", 150 pounds. Yeah, I have a hard time unearthing, why I guess you just explained why you don't approach women. Like, what's the barrier with that? Why don't you approach women?
You know what? You know what it is? It's because before, and I'm gonna be perfectly open and honest. Before, I'm not like the what we define as a normal black male. I don't have that natural confidence like how a normal black male has. I never had that. But lately, I think what's been preventing me is I've been through these. Like I said, I've watched your show, and multiple other panels. And what happens is I listen to these panels, and I'm just like taking in all the data and all the information. So I've watched, Coach Greg Adams. I've watched Donovan Sharp, King Riches, and all these all these red pill channels. So now I'm at the point where, okay, if I'm 29, I've never had a significant other, never been on a date, and I'm still a virgin. And we now I'm caught up to speed on how women are now. So what's the point? That's why I don't pursue women anymore.
No, I gotta stop you there. You can't draw your conclusion about now that I know how women are because I heard other people talking about how women are now. What's the point in dealing with it? I mean, if you met, well, let's say if you went swiping right or on a dating app, you matched with a chick and you said, hey, do you want to go out on a date? And she went out on that date and the two of y'all talked and y'all dealt with each other at any level or any capacity, that would be a net positive. Even if some of the stuff that's talked about in this space did apply to her, at the end of the day, we're talking about a net positive. You went from never being on a date to being on a date. You went from not having sex to potentially having somebody that you may potentially end up having sex with and or being in a relationship with. So I don't see how that would be a net positive. You can't let all the stuff that we talk about a lot, a lot of the stuff that women do. Yes, men who are dealing with women need to know and understand this stuff. Like to be 20, to be almost 30, like and to have never gotten on the horse, so to speak. I mean, you need to get on the horse. You need to get in the game. So and only way, like if you were telling me that you were just completely unproductive and lived in your mama basement and all of that, I wouldn't even say anything that would even encourage you to just rush out there and try to get some action. But if you got the basic steps of manhood covered, and the only thing going forward now is just that you need to just get in the game when it comes to women. I mean, and you said you're not don't got buck teeth, you're not butt ugly. That's based off what you're saying. Maybe it sounds like you're not in bad shape. Like so, like what's stopping you from bare minimum doing what most of us do? Like I wasn't big on approaching women, and most of the time when I approached women, it didn't exactly go well. But I did it. But even if that could be nerve-wracking, you can break those nerves just by getting on the apps and matching with somebody and just starting a little text conversation and touch and go, sink or swim. You're gonna go through some BS. There's gonna be some that's gonna be flaky on you. There's gonna be some that only want to just sit there and talk to you but never see you. It's gonna be all that. I mean, just go ahead and just get out there and experience all that. Once you got basic manhood covered, just play around with the apps and just talk to some women. Like that's simple. You can just do that sitting on your couch and just get just get in the game. Like what's stopping you from doing that?
I mean, I understand what you're saying completely as far on that piece. It's just I guess and I know people have told me like not to feed into or not to take the red pill concept too far. And I think I've done just that. So now
you've definitely
I'm looking at everything from the sidelines now, and I'm kind of like, okay, well, now since I know this, and this, and I wasn't aware of that before, what's the point? So, but because of that naturally, that's why I'm having issues now trying to maintain semen retention, and that is what's causing me to keep falling back into this infinite loop. So it's like, I got something, but now because of this, now this is happening.
Well, I'll say this. I think this space, and I'm passing to Coach Ali, but I think this space is definitely I won't say failed, but the wrong impression is given if a guy who's a 29-year-old virgin who's productive in his life is under the impression that, why bother dealing with women? It's all doom and gloom. I think the space is missed the mark, or maybe you've just interpreted it wrong. If that's where you walk away with it. I mean, there are some very sensible people like Mel Enlightenment TV, who we mentioned before, very sensible, very intelligent. He's decided for him he's not going to deal with women. There are some people who've decided they're going to deal with women casually, and that's how they end up not getting caught up in any BS. Shout out to Ramil. He was on here yesterday and doing that. I was dealing with him casually like that. Now I'm in a relationship with one woman who I trust, who's a good woman, and the second that she fails to be that good woman, then she'll be on her way. But the overall time being with her has been great, and so even if she got on some BS and we broke up, it was still a net positive. So you got to look at it like that. Don't hear the horror stories and say, okay, so I just need to not deal with women at all. Somebody who has dealt with women and experienced women, and if they want to step back and say, hey, this ain't working out for me, I'm not doing it no more. Or like some people who say, hey, dealing with these American women in this culture ain't working, I'll deal with women in another culture. I'll do that, but no, I can't support. I don't approve that message of you just willfully staying on the sidelines because you heard some guys tell their horror stories. Now, I'm not saying you need to jump out there and experience your own horror story, but so you do need to be careful and cautious and take heed. All the information that you've gathered, have all that in the back of your mind when you're getting out there, but you do got to get out there. That's not acceptable to just not get out there, to not try, even if the possibility of women in another culture. But I'm not even gonna go there with you, man, because you hear right now there are women in America. You can't let other people horror stories prevent you from living your life. So you do gotta take that step, man. You do gotta take that step. Just if you can't overcome the nerves. For me personally, overcoming the nerves to approach women, it just took a few shots of the, just get a little something in you, get that liquid courage going, and go ahead and approach them. But bare minimum, just get on the apps and play around with that. Just play around with it, man. Just get some interactions with women. Just start right there. Just start right there with some simple interactions. I'm sure you're not one of those ones that's talking about she got to be a dime or nothing like that. I'm sure, right?
No.
She ain't got to be an 8 or a 9. As long as she's just a okay looking chick that don't got warts or nothing growing on her face. I'm sure you're fine with her. Most guys are okay with an average chick that's decent to just be around. So I mean, yeah, you can find that, man. That's findable. You can't live your life on the sideline. Shout out to Chief Rocka, says peace be Riley in chat. Peace to you, Chief Rock. Appreciate your support in the super chat. All right, Coach Ali, you're the man of the hour. You're the special guest, but I kind of took it over right there. I just wanted to talk to the brother who sent me an email a while back. But go ahead, Coach Ali. You got it. You can take it wherever you want.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so I definitely concur with Bernard. The red pill ideology is a little bit extreme. And I hate that I have to do this, but I mean, a lot of people who kind of spew, not necessarily the content creators, but the people in the chat room, they're people who've been burned before and don't know how to either process it, or they're using this space to lash out. And, I'm not going to say they go as far as hating women, but, they feel like they got duped, and now they found a community where other brothers have experienced the same thing. And you don't want to take that stuff to heart, because then you're going to go, interact with women, go on dates. And in the back of your mind, you're waiting for those talking points to rear its head while in interaction. And then you're going to judge her based on, stuff that you've heard by other people. You know what I mean? And so, again, I've been with my wife for 10 years. Has she tried me? Of course. Have she, done things that hurt my feelings? Of course. I've been with her for 10 years. But a lot of reasons why relationships don't work is because a lot of people lack conflict resolution skills. When something tough happens, you're so quick to throw it away and start over. And then when the same thing happens with the new relationship, you scrap it away and start over, rather than just working on that particular issue. Now, if the woman is just strictly no good, then obviously, you dismiss her and go about your business. But, again, I'm not a dating coach. I'm not going to say, I'm a sexual alpha by any means. Like, I had my fun, early high school, early college, before I met my wife. And, I was never a cold approacher either. I've never been like the typical Keishas, we don't click, and that's okay. You know what I mean? I'm nerdy. I'm very nerdy. I like nerd stuff, even though I played sports. And, I realized that those type of ladies, I don't connect with, and that's okay. When ladies did, were interested, I was either, doing something community related, or I'm on stage discussing something, and then, they would usually come down and talk about the subject. And that's how I would typically start getting the conversations with women that were interested. So, and that's kind of what people were getting on as far as to get on your purpose, because when women see you winning, they kind of want to know who's the man behind the process. And so again, I'm not a dating coach, but that's one thing that is harped in this community, which is true. You should be on your purpose, because women become a luxury to you because they enjoy what you do. They see that you're on the winning side of things, so they're naturally drawn to you. I'm trying to think of the brother. He's older now. His name is Marcus Brownlee, one of the biggest tech YouTubers out there, millionaire, nerdy little black dude, and sisters never even heard of him until they saw like a white chick or an Asian chick on his arm. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yep.
You know what I mean? And so, and again, I'm not making this a female buffoonery type subject, but for you with the semen retention thing, it's very optimal to find out what you're supposed to be doing. And, once you find out what you're supposed to be doing and you're executing it and you're doing well, women will come to you, nerdy or not. You know what I mean? So, I feel like that's kind of where you're going to start getting heavier interactions. I mean, I definitely would say, even if you don't go on dates, once everything kind of clears up and we're back to roaming free again, go to mixers, go to, charity events where you're going to see, the type of women you could socialize and act and interact with. If you're looking to have a significant other, you're not necessarily going to find her at the bar or at the club. That's kind of where all the I don't want to say that's not the word. I'm not even going to try to say it on the air, but that's where people find hookups and flings. If you're trying to find something solid, you want to go to community events where people are, showing their best interest, whatever the interest may be. But yeah, the reason why I'm so glad you jumped on here is because not too many men will be vulnerable enough to get up here and express that, I've never had a woman, 29-year-old virgin. That's this kind of where the sharks come out and attack and ridicule. So I definitely commend you for coming up here and saying that. And it's going to take more brothers like you in order to grow that type of community. But in order for you to get baby crying, in order for you to
I can take over. Oh, you got it? You okay?
Yep, I got it. He just wanted to be picked up. So
okay.
The biggest thing that's going to be for you, like what Brother Bernard was saying, is just getting in the game. You're gonna take some L's. You're gonna get embarrassed. But you can't be like the people in the not this comment section, but I'm just using the analogy, for the internet. You don't want to be the person in the comment section all the time telling the person what you would have done. If that was me in a situation, I would be, doing X, Y, Z. You know what I'm saying? Kobe Bryant, great legend, got ridiculed all the time. Jordan got ridiculed all the time. Shaq got ridiculed all the time. But guess what? They're the one in the game. I'm not a LeBron James fan. I mean, he's a hell of a basketball player, but he gets criticized all the time. But guess what? He's the one in the game. And so you don't want to be the person just sitting back, being the commentator. No one's really looking at the people people aren't focusing on the people on the sidelines. They're looking at who's playing the game.
Yeah.
And so I'll wrap it up with this is that, the more you focus on whatever you are, what your true desires are, what I'm saying? Whatever you want to make out of your lifetime, with the semen retention, you will gain the confidence, you will gain the notoriety, you'll be notarized, amongst your peers. that you're a valuable person, a valid person, and people will start being more attracted to you. It's just gonna take some time. It's gonna take some effort, and some people bloom earlier than others. Some people bloom later than others. But the sooner you get into the game, the more you'll get some more playing time.
Right on. And Melody in here soliciting. Got to pull that O'Shea dating music. Says, what sucks is I was in a long-term relationship and we broke up right before COVID-19. Now I can't date and I'm all alone. The only thing I can do is have internet and phone relationships for a nominal fee of, what do you charge? Not just playing. Going in, I think you got to type in Melody Sims. Going in, y'all can slide in their Instagram and have one of those phone relationships with a lot of heavy phone breathing and credit card number exchanges and all of that going on. I don't know if RX is into that, but she advertising heavy, but yeah, man, we about to wrap this up pretty soon. But you do gotta get in the game. When you mentioned like the Coach Greg Adams and Donovan Sharps, the things that they're saying is to let guys know why you don't just run in head over heels, just giving your heart and your all and your everything to women instantly. I don't think they're not preaching don't deal with women. It's a few people who are preaching that, and there's fine arguments on many sides, but I don't think that's not the takeaway from people like Coach Greg Adams and Donovan Sharp. They're not saying don't deal with them at all. And I do feel like if you if you're a virgin, the Steph is cold or alpha male, Steph is cold, talking about dig until she buzz alpha male strategies, talking bitches asleep and all that stuff. Some of that stuff may be taking you too fast. Like what I said, like what Coach Ali said, just get in the game in one way or another. It's like it's easier to get in the game nowadays. I know some people don't like the dating apps, but the reality is, like what Ramil talked about when he was on here yesterday, 1/3 of the people that's on Facebook are on Tinder. So it's a lot of just normal, regular people on Tinder. It's a lot of hookups. It's an app that's whatever you make it. But the only reason I'm throwing Tinder out there or whatever dating app you choose to use, it could take you from having no interaction with women to, at bare minimum, having a woman that you're actually talking to, interacting with, and y'all may very well go from the process of texting to having a phone conversation, may go from the process of a phone conversation to actually seeing each other. Like that's what you got to do. That's first and foremost. Everything that you've heard in the manosphere is all just theory. It means nothing until you actually get in the game. That's the main thing. Once so you gotta get in the game. We about to wrap this thing up pretty soon. Send me an email so I can make sure I got your email. But we about to wrap this thing up. Obsidian is on the air. That's the link to the video. I do want y'all to click that link and go over there, check out Obsidian. Tell him I sent you. Go over there and check him out. He on the air right now. I think he got like 180 people. Oh no, yeah, like 209 people. I want to see that bump up to 300. Let's bump him up to 300. So I want y'all to go over there and check out Obsidian. But real quick, before we get out of here, we're gonna get some last words. I'm gonna pass it to the RX real quick. Let you get your last words in, and I'm gonna let Coach Ali take us home. But go ahead, RX. What you got for your final thoughts on what we talked about today?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for allowing me onto your panel. I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to make more of an effort to speak out more and be heard more, because I think this is, and I know this is an issue that, especially among men, we really don't discuss enough. But the way things are going, these kind of discussions almost need to become the norm. So, though that would be my final thought. But I'll be looking forward to future panels of yours. Coach Ali, do you have a channel yourself?
Yeah, it's been in the link has been in the chat. Somebody drop that link again so we can go subscribe to Coach Ali. Let me ask you this real quick question, RX. Are you nervous about having an interaction with a woman? Because you haven't even had one in no telling how long. So, as far as getting on an app or a dating app, dating site, or anything like that, and just having just a back and forth text or message conversation with the woman, is that even nerve-wracking for you?
Anything, to be honest, Bernard, anything that has to deal with me interacting with women in general is nerve-wracking. Whether it's just me personally, or all the information that I've taken in from the manosphere or the red pill ideology. So now it's just like, and that's what I'm saying. I guess I shouldn't have made these panels a study guide, which is basically what I've done. I've made these panels a study guide, and now it's like, well, there's no need to even approach women or even trying to interact with women, because you had all these other panels that said basically the same exact thing. So yeah. Anything that has to deal with me having to interact with females is like, it's very nerve-wracking and very cringing process for me.
Yeah, that I can tell. That's the first step to overcoming that. That's why, like, when Coach Ali was talking about going to mixers and different things like that, I assumed that you probably would just be a nervous wreck. So I just figured a way to you break that ice. You could break it shouldn't be nerve-wracking on the internet. You're safe and you're at home and you just type in words and pushing send on a phone.
Right.
Like that part, like that's safe.
Right.
That's how you break the ice. So yeah, let's start right. Just start right there. Just see if you can just get some type of match with a chick on a site, and just simply say, "Hello, how are you?" And she respond, and then you respond, and see if you could just have a conversation in a safe environment at home over the internet on your phone, just messaging back and forth with a chick. Just start there, and then that'll just break the ice. Just you got to do that. I'm gonna check back with you. Send me an email. I'm gonna check back with you to see if you're doing that. Like I said, I ain't no dating coach. I actually reached out. Well, no, I'm not gonna get into that. But I ideally I want to, because I don't. I'm real careful about giving people advice that I don't feel like I'm qualified to give, but I think that's a safe place to start. But when you sent me that email that you sent me, I did talk to somebody who I do think is qualified that could probably help you out. I wanted to try to get to two of you together, but so I may explore that. But bare minimum, you want to do that much. Just create a profile, put a couple pictures on there, match with a chick, and just break the ice online, just messaging back and forth. That you be a bare minimum want to do that. You got to break that ice. You can't just live your life in fear and just nervous and scared to just take that extra step, that extra leap. But that's the last thing I'll say to you, Coach Ali. You could wrap it up on NOFAP, or wrap it up with your final thoughts on this conversation, which is real interesting, by the way. Real interesting. We might have to do something else with the RX. So yeah, so go ahead, Coach Ali. You got the final words, and we about to get up out of here.
Yeah, this has definitely been a good way to top off the conversation. But what I will say is that don't beat yourself up because you think you're missing something because you've never had a woman. Sex doesn't necessarily make you a man. And the reason why I say that is because everyone gets tied up in I only mess with 8, 9s, and dimes. I don't approach women; they approach me. These people that you would never meet in your entire life. Build a facade that they just get women. What they also don't tell you about dealing with women is even you may be getting, sex from them, is the other side that you have to deal with. And I know you've done your research, through the red pill community, but you have to honestly ask yourself, are you ready for what comes behind that? You know what I mean? People have these horror stories. People have these horror stories because they were active in the dating world, but a lot of brothers who got chicks pregnant that put them on child support, running them through the ringer. You kind of have to ask the question, why were you messing with her in the first place? Even though sex is an enjoyable act, you're still taking a risk with whoever you're dealing with. So just be mindful of who you are entertaining, and just realize that if you ever get with the woman and before you lay down with her, you have to say, would she make a good mother to my children? And would I be able to get along with her if this were to happen? Because accidents do happen. And I'll leave it at that.
All right. And we're going to wrap it up right there. I'd like to thank everybody who came through today, everybody who hit the like button, if you shared, if you subscribed, if you banged the bell, or if you just came in here and dropped some crazy kooky comments in the chat and didn't even hit the like button. I still appreciate you. You gave me your view and a couple comments. I appreciate all of you. Shout out to News, said he ain't going over there to Obsidian, but Obsidian's channel, he's live on the air right now, so I want most of you to go over there and check him out. He had 200 last I checked. Let's get him up to 300. Go over there and strap on in, watch Obsidian, and sub to Coach Ali. There it is right there. Make sure you do that too. Make sure you sub to Coach Ali. I'll be waiting on an email from you, RX, so I can save and start an email so I can save it so I can have it. And we'll keep in touch, have some corresponding. You let me know how that's going. If you're taking my advice of just getting on the app, just a easy way to just talk and message back and forth with a woman to just break the ice, to kill those initial nerves of dealing with women, because I actually do understand it to some degree. My problem wasn't as big as yours, so I'm not going to try to make it seem like they were equal. But after my marriage, like I married my first, so I hadn't dealt with no woman for a long period of time, from 19 to I made it into to 31 basically. And so when when we separated and I got back out there, I understand that nerve-wracking feeling of just jumping out there. You've never been out there, and in a way I felt like I had never been out there either, because I was, me and her met in high school, so I was a kid when me and her met. So I was with the same person that I was with from the time I was a kid. So as far as being an adult man actually going out there trying to get at adult women, who many of them were, even though I had marriage life, real life, grown man problems and experience, but as far as being out there dating, no, they had far more experience than me, a lot of those chicks. So that was kind of nerve-wracking, it was a whole new territory. So I understand the concept of having those initial nerves that you got to overcome just jumping out there. I can relate, not exactly, because you've never had anything going on. So yeah, you break the ice online. I'm gonna be checking with you on that. It's easy for you to break the ice online. Go ahead and do that. They saying, okay, get out of there, YouTubemeet.com. but all right, man. Yeah, make sure you do that. We'll be keeping in touch. Thanks for coming on up, and thank you everybody for coming on through here today. Appreciate all of y'all. Like I said before, go over there and check out the old man. Tell him I sent you, and we are out of here. Peace.